Welcome to Guys We Fuck.
The anti-slut-shaming podcast.
Yo, you having sex?
I'm Krystyna Hutchinson.
I'm Corinne Fisher, and I'm Fuck Your Boyfriend. Bring us your slutty, your horny, and your shame.
Hey, you a slut?
Yes. Okay.
Let's talk about fucking.
Greetings, fuckers. How you been? Where you at? Did you drink enough water today? Welcome to another exciting episode of Guys We Fucked.
It's the anti-slut-shaming podcast. I'm Corinne Fisher.
I'm Krystyna Hutchinson.
Welcome to the show.
Guys, what do you do March 7th? Are you in New York City? It's a Thursday. Well, come on down to the MasterCard Midnight Theater, where Corinne Fisher and I will take the stage with our new producer, Eric Freddy, for the first time ever in a live setting for our next installment of the Guys We Fucked residency. Guys Who Fucked Live, Guys Who Fucked the Experience. These shows are wacky. They're nuts. They're so fun. You could buy a ticket to stream it digitally, or you could come in person. That's what I prefer. Come in person. Say hi. Hang out. And then Good Girl Barbara, my debut comedy album, is out for wherever you get your comedy albums. Not a lot of places. Spotify, Apple Music. And as always, sign up for my Patreon if you're not doing that great. I'm really good at handling people that are pretty much on the brink, and I could get you off. I mean, I'm not going to take responsibility for myself getting off the brink. However, because that's not my job.
A lawsuit waiting to happen.
Yeah, I'm not a licensed therapist. Chad. Oh, remember Chad?
I do remember Chad.
Been a while.
It's been a while, Chad. He's not listening to this, but if he is, hi. Maybe you really are a fan. But yeah, sign up for it once a week. Talk about shit on Zoom for an hour. It's really cathartic, and if you're not there, you can always listen to it later. Patreon.com/Krystyna Hutchinson. Springfield, Missouri. Hey guys, hey all of you there. I'm headlining March 22nd, March 23rd in the Blue Room, so come out, you can see that. And as always, listen to my solo podcast, The Voices in Your Head. Drop shit like that.
Oh, there you go. That was perfect on cue. And Washington, D.C., reminder that I am going to be at the D.C. Comedy Loft February 29th through March 2nd. Tickets are available for those 5 shows. And I will be with Chloe LeBranch, who you heard a couple weeks ago on this program. Going to be a great weekend of comedy. And then, of course, you can listen to my political podcast, Without a Country. It's been great. Just did my 3rd appearance on the Fox News channel, and I think it's going well. On this episode, I did scream that I screamed in the middle of the episode, "I'm a liberal. What do you want from me?" And it was fun. We all had a good time.
My parents both definitely probably saw it.
Oh yeah, no, probably. I was like, lots of people's parents saw it. Is what I can say about that. But lots of people's parents saw it.
Oh, our parents have been kidnapped by Fox News. Well, at least mine. That's fine.
Yeah, so mine have it.
Good for you guys. That's exciting. I've been intermittent fasting. That's really fun. Yeah, I'm just trying to.
I just live like, I don't even call it fasting, but I kind of just organically do that.
Well, I in a continued effort for 2024 to do things that I absolutely do not want to do, but I know there could be some like health benefits or mental health benefits. I'm forcing myself to do things I don't want to do so that I can fucking woman up and be a better person. And eating at night is one of my favorite activities in the whole entire world. I love eating at night. I do most of my eating early in the morning, first thing, and then late at night. And I notice when I do this thing where I sleep eat, and I get up in the middle of the night, and I just grab the cabinets, and then I wake up in the morning, and I see all the cabinet doors open, and I see food everywhere. I'm like, and I always have the flashback. Oh, right. Oh, god damn it. And
you don't eat that much though, so like, what's the problem?
Well, what it does to your blood sugar and your pancreas and your liver, when you eat, you should at least be going 12 hours without eating, so that your body can do what it's supposed to do. But if you go 16 hours without eating, this cool process called ketosis. It's called ketosis. Well, it's basically where your body is getting energy from the fat cells within your body instead of the sugar that you eat. But what that does is it cleans out all your cells. So if you go do a 16-hour period of fasting, it's really good for your health. But goddamn, right?
Well, I know people have mixed feelings on intermittent fasting though, because I know there's also been a lot of discussion about people thinking it's too close to an eating disorder.
Well, they said if you've certainly not for everybody.
Yeah.
But I will say, not eating, even if I didn't fast and I just didn't eat past 8 o'clock, because it's not healthy for your organs. Because what I would do is I would stuff my face.
It's just hard when you're a comedian. It's like when you get home from work in the morning. I mean, you've had a full work day and then you're not going to eat.
I know. Well, that's why I got like my meals. You have to fucking prep. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
But yeah. So your organs are just, and I wake up in the morning and I feel so much better. So that's been fun. I'm just the book Woman I'm kind of studying right now. It just talks about putting really healthy food in your body is really going to change how your hormones function. So I'm experimenting with that, cooking most of my meals, and I feel lighter. And even when I'm hangry, it's still very grounded. You know, which is pretty cool. So, but I was thinking last night. Yeah, so I was thinking. I was pondering. You know, I was watching the Super Bowl. So watching the Super Bowl and Beyonce. Just a lot. Bad. But I was just. We get a lot of, when you're a public person, you get a lot of people's opinions about you on your Instagram page, left in comment section. And we've been doing this for 10 years, baby. We're used to it. And at this point, I'm used to it. So I'm like, all right, let's go. It does make you a better person because
I like that you were used to it at a different time.
Very different experience of being used to it than you were. Because now I've done all this work on like trauma and shit. I'm like, oh, this is why people are dicks, It's like, so at least, because before doing all that work, I literally would contemplate at home and be like, why are people so fucking mean? And it would really bother me.
It still actually bothers me that people are so cruel, but I'm not like, why?
Right, it's me saying, that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
It still bothers me, and I feel like lately, on my page, and then on everybody's page, it's just being cunt. Like a huge cunt. Julia Roberts posted this picture of her and her niece, like having to play poker or something, drinking tea.
And it's also like just one celebrity I can't even think of anything bad to say.
I know. And then she was like, yeah, there was people in the comments like, wow, she's unrecognizable. She's like, guys, I'm fucking 50. And she's like, I know who I am. I'm confident who I am, but it still bummed me out. And it made me think about all the teenagers that get bullied on like their appearance. It's just like, you're so mean. And then on my posts lately, I'm experimenting with this. But just people say dumb, mean shit. And I'm like,
what kind of things were you
just like, I mean, there's always the, oh, this is what you're talking about, and everything else is going on in the world, which I will address in one moment. That's why I want to talk about this. It's a very important thing to say about that. But, and then it's just like, just mean shit. Like, you're unfuckable, just dumb shit that I'm like, these don't hurt me.
Really? Those are usually meant for me.
No, I'm kidding. I mean, that's why I'm like, wow, the internet's really doing real internet's really doing well on this.
Weird.
I know. And it's like, yeah, okay, like, fuck you suck. But the amount of comments and DMs I've been getting about people disappointed in me for just one comment I got last night that I ended up, I'll talk about this part on the bonus episode because I'm not going to give this person a platform more than I have, but about not talking about wars, about not talking about what's happening in Gaza. And, as from my perspective, I know what I think in my day-to-day. And I know that on Twitter, I don't see the images on Instagram because I filter them out because I just want to see the Kardashians and rugby players. That's it. I don't want to see this shit, okay? I don't want to, and I can control as much as I can. And Twitter's a different story because the images, it's really sad, but these images they bother me to the point where they don't affect my ability to function, but I need to take like an extra hour out of my day to cry, to be honest, because I'm like, this is just so awful. But a lot of criticism being thrown at me, and I'm sure a lot of other people, about artists not addressing Gaza every second of the day. And I want to throw this out there as food for thought. If you are an activist, or if you have a cause that you're really passionate about, it is not healthy to only think about that 24/7. You are traumatizing yourself with these images and these videos, and constant taking in the news is traumatizing. And as an artist, I believe our job is, if you're an artist who wants to speak up about this shit, cool, that's your prerogative, fuck yeah. But if you're an artist that just wants to provide some brevity, like a stand-up comedian, that's a really important service. And I was thinking about children's bodies for a second, and I need to watch this dumb fuck thing on Instagram. You know what I mean? And so it's really important. And it made me ponder, because Beyonce, like I said, released that album for the Super Bowl, and I feel so lucky to be alive at the same time as that woman, and I also feel lucky to have a creative person that I legit look up to and kind of study. And I know what she gives to me as a fan. Are you raising your hand?
Yeah, can I tell us a quick story?
She's in the middle of something,
When you're
Michael.
done. When you're done.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, yeah.
The perfect build starts with the perfect match, and that's where Estimate 1 comes in. If you're a construction subby tired of sifting through endless job listings, look no further. We connect you with main contractors in your area who need your skills. From live tenders to trade package previews, we centralize it all for you. Expand your network, land your next project, and plan jobs effortlessly. It only takes a few clicks. So, why wait? Create your free Estimate 1 account and match with your next job now.
I know what she gives to me as a fan of her, right? I don't know if she's talked about the Gaza thing. I don't even fucking know. I don't know.
I was actually going to ask. I'm like, I
don't know. And you know what? I don't care. Okay?
Taylor Swift hasn't addressed it.
I just don't expect Beyonce to address it. She has her issues that she's passionate about.
Yeah.
I'm sure she had to have said something.
Well, because Bella
Hadid
had like a dinner with Taylor Swift and like those people. And so
yeah.
And so she changed something about where her album was being released. This was way at the beginning, though.
Oh, okay. And look, if she wants to say something, I think that's amazing and powerful. But if she doesn't want to say anything at the moment, that's okay. She's her own person. And I was thinking about what Beyonce gives me as a fan of hers. And then I was thinking about, well, what do I want to give people? What like gifts do I want to, bestow upon people? And I never really thought about it, but it makes sense. It's kind of obvious. I want to make people laugh because laughter is very healing, especially when you laugh about dark things or you laugh in the midst of dark times. That is so potent you have no fucking idea, because it takes the steam out of the pressure cooker that is your rage and your terror and your sadness. I want you to contemplate new ideas that define what you believe are logical. That's why I love aliens and ghosts and psychedelic drugs. And I want to encourage people to get to know themselves on a very deep level. And I also I just wanted to talk about that and how before you press post on a comment, I know that we have bigger fish to fry in the world, but I'm kind of like, maybe we don't actually, because true humanitarian shifts in consciousness and becoming better as a people, they happen with you first, boo. They happen with me first, okay? You got to do the work on yourself. And so I encourage you, before you press post on that comment, and I've done this. I've seen Instagram posts, and I'm like, what the fuck does this person, who does she think she is? And I'll go to post, and then before I press the post button, I go, is this coming from a place of love or fear? And then when I don't feel like answering that question because I'm too fucking mad, I ask myself, am I adding to the garbage dumpster fire of Instagram or a social media platform? Or is this making something better? It's never making something better. So I don't post it.
I think very few comments on Instagram are making anything better.
Not really, yeah. Yeah, even the ones that
when
are
I
like,
put
you're doing
three
the right
fire signs, it's like, did that help anything?
Yeah.
The algorithm, I suppose.
But I do think I would implore people to maybe not use the artists you follow on Instagram, use their comment section as a dumpster for your misplaced rage, because your rage is coming from a real place, but we know
it's coming from helplessness too. So I feel like it's, people don't know what to do, and that feels like they did something, but they just make you mad.
Michael?
I understand that.
So, I think
here we go. Buckle up, get a blanket.
This is my personal opinion, but having worked in really radio forever, I think there are certain arenas where certain things are appropriate and inappropriate.
Yeah.
Beyond people's personal feelings about something that's happening in the world. And one of the best examples that I've ever been a part of, and it still makes me laugh, things about something that's happening in the world. And
Mhm.
one of the best examples that I've ever been a part of, and it still makes me laugh to this day. But when I was working at Betches, we were working on a
Everyone's
show.
a Batcher.
We were working with I think someone you guys had on the show a while ago. Comments by celebs, Emma Diamond.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, great. Emma's really fantastic. But they were trying to get their footing as a podcast when we were still working with them. They didn't really know how to do any of this yet.
Yeah.
And their show is a fucking, this celebrity said this and this blah, blah. It's a nonsense fluff bullshit thing.
Yeah.
And we were recording.
That's
I'm
the
sure they'll
branding.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, and I mean it lovingly. It just it is what it is.
But we need some nonsense fluff shit to give it us a break.
Exactly.
I mean,
it's
just
a non-political
quite
show.
frankly, some of us are too fucking stupid. I mean, myself included, but I have a show about being stupid, talking about politics, so
Right.
it feels American. But,
Right.
you know,
Very American.
Yeehaw.
right?
Right.
Like, that's kind of the point.
Right. So Emma, like it's a perfect example. They just don't do a show about any of that type of stuff. Their show was just like
It's like
John
how the
Stamos said
Kardashians
this.
don't talk about food.
Right. Sure.
Oh
same
my
sort of
God.
thing.
Exactly. They have
They really don't.
No, that's the thing. That's
They
why they
just
allow
talk
that
about
one guy to
makeup.
be food god. Their friend is food god because
Oh.
that's one thing they don't deal with. They don't deal with food.
Wow.
Okay, sorry, go on.
So Emma and Julie, who I don't know what their show looks like now, but that was who was hosting the show. Emma and I forget Julie's last name, but we were recording like a day before or the day of 9/11, and we were putting it out.
Oh boy.
Not 9/11.
Oh,
the attack.
I was like, you were a
Oh.
child. Yeah.
This
I was
was
gonna say
like
this was high
4
school.
years ago. No,
Oh, I said Mike invented podcasting.
Right.
Shit.
This was like I don't know 2018 or something like that.
Mm,
And
that was a year.
they were prepping the show, and then they were going to record the show, and they started talking, and then they realized they hadn't said anything about 9/11 on their show.
God.
So they were like, we have to stop and take a moment to have like just recognize 9/11. And basically, like in the middle of their podcast,
Worse
they're
than
like,
not saying anything at all.
exactly.
Yeah.
They're just like, we'd be remiss if we just didn't remember that like today was 9/11.
Really took that. Don't forget.
And that was it. They didn't say anything else.
Okay.
They didn't say anything about, but in their head,
Because they're doing it
there's-
as insurance for themselves, not because they actually have anything poignant to say about it.
exactly, and it's not like it was like a memorable
And you can sniff it.
anniversary of 9/11.
Sure.
They shoehorned this non sequitur meaningless mention of 9/11 into this show about what John Stamos said on
Yeah.
so and so.
What's hot right now? Yeah.
Exactly. So I
John
just think
Stamos.
there's times and places for all that stuff, and
Yeah.
it doesn't mean you don't care about what's going on, and it doesn't mean, but it's just you know.
Sometimes people are caught up in like a really intense emotion from seeing some really awful things, right? And they're like, why aren't you feeling the way I'm feeling right now? Boo. We have at some point. And this is the last thing I want to say about this is like, I want you guys to think of artists as the musicians on the Titanic. Okay? The violinists. You look, oh, my headphones got cut out.
I can still hear you.
Oh, you can still hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
everything is
Well,
fine.
I can't hear myself. I'm gonna make a speech now. Think of artists as like the violinists on the Titanic. The ship is going down. It's traumatic. It's chaotic. People are dying. It's not fun. And you look around you, there's chaos. But then you look at those musicians on the Titanic, they're still fucking playing. Because what are they gonna do? Scream too? It's not gonna help. They're gonna play. So I as an artist, I'm like, I'm gonna keep playing that violin, baby. All right? And so don't expect me to comment about these things. Don't expect artists to comment on these social matters all the time. Because I don't think it's healthy for the psyche of people. I think it's super traumatizing to talk about something so awful all the fucking time. You have to talk about other things, if only for a moment. Okay?
And that, as I said, if you're looking for hot Israel Hamas content, I have hours up for you on Without a Country. But and I addressed this on Without a Country. But I think what's upset me a little bit is that we're cherry picking atrocities, right? And there's no argument the levels of atrocity and the number of deaths in Palestine. The tens of thousands of people who have there's no, you can look on Wikipedia and actually see a numbers order of slaughters that have occurred, and it's, nearing the top, that's for sure. But what also happened is, like, for instance, this week, a cult leader named Paul Mackenzie in Kenya was charged with murder after more than 400 bodies were found buried in shallow graves in a remote forest in the east of the country, many of them children. And it's just like, okay, well, there's an example of an atrocity that I haven't heard anyone. I mean, I pulled it up because I was specifically looking for other atrocities. But it's like, are those people less important? Right. They're not. Like, we don't all have a running list of everything that happened horrific in the world. No one knows everything. No one has a list, and I feel like it's weird to put it in some kind of like an order.
Yeah, and one of the things about having a phone too is you're in constant view of all the awful things that are happening. Not even half of them that are happening in the world. So it's like, I mean, we are so aware of what's happening that we get a live stream of it. My God, that does damage to the soul of the planet.
Makes it miss the days when you just have a job on the docks.
Yeah.
Not in front of a screen all day.
Well, the thing is that even when you talk about it, I mean, again, I've talked about this for hours. You're not going to talk about it exactly right how people want you to, but that's
right.
Well, but that's the beauty of having an opinion,
right?
Yeah. Having an opinion, thinking about something, maybe go talk to the president about it. I love talking about politics. I think it's fascinating. I think it's, I feel like for me personally, it is my responsibility as like a citizen to talk about politics, but that's my views on myself. Yeah.
All right, guys. Today's guest is us. We're just gonna keep chatting.
We're gonna keep chatting.
I swear for a second I thought you just forgot, and you were gonna throw to somebody.
You've seen her at the Comedy Center. Yeah. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be amazing. And
oh, you know what? Okay, so I was actually I was talking to Motion Capture, and so then it got me Googling about Natasha Leggero and the last time that they were on our show. And I found this really weird site that I wanted to show you guys. And it just goes to show that there's really a fetish for everything. So I was trying to remember when Natasha was on the show, because we were going to have them back on. And the sneeze fetish forum came up when you search Natasha Leggero Guys We Fucked, and it is literally just a site where they link to famous, I guess mostly women, and when they sneeze on podcast appearances, because this is a specific type of fetish.
Yeah, I'll bet you.
men put their energy into the weirdest shit.
If I had put
I
money
guarantee you, the guys who do this, they don't do their dishes.
Yeah, and so literally there's a post on Sneeze Fetish Forum, and it's sneezefetishforum.com.
Say that 8 times fast.
That says, Maul, he posts on August 27th, 2021, he goes, Natasha Leggero sneezing on the Guys We Fuck podcast. And then it goes further to say, the hosts describe her leaning back in her seat, to which Natasha responds that she was doing so because she needed to sneeze, and then she does so at the 45-minute, 38-second timestamp. Bro, and they comment on the quality of the sneeze. Enjoy. And then there's a luminary link to the timestamp of the sneeze.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's really something.
People are so unique.
I'm like, well, listen,
You think you can't be surprised by people, or like, you think you've heard it all.
wait. Oh
Not
my
like
god.
that.
My phone is fucking with me. I just clicked the link and then it says episode unavailable. Why can't I listen to Call Her Daddy on Luminary? It's probably unavailable. This is not Call Her Daddy.
Wait, what the fuck?
Look at my phone and it's fucking haunting me.
No escape, ladies.
Wait.
We'll haunt you forever.
That is a weird prompt. The prompt is the professional prompt that's coming up on Corinne's phone is, in quote, why can't I listen to Call Her Daddy on Luminary? It's temporarily unavailable for Call Her Daddy. It's weird.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, anyway, the sneeze fetish forum is popping.
Jeez.
And then Nav.
Can you imagine if that's what got you off? Just to fucking sneeze? How simple.
Well, there is a,
Just go to a
it is the beginning of an
clinic.
orgasm. Like it's the
does
same
feel
like
like
power.
Sneezing feels
Well,
great.
like this, like a medical
love-
explanation is like the same. I don't know, like veracity.
Yeah.
It does feel like I'm jizzing, but like in a
You
guy way.
Like when you're winding up for a sneeze, you like pull everything in.
Yeah,
and then
and
it's like
an explosion.
yeah, right.
Wait, guys, the first reply to this from Nav the day after the original post, he goes, "Nice find and good sneezy chatter from the others too."
All right.
Another person.
I love this. This is
Another
great.
person goes, "Amazing build up at 7 minutes and 10 seconds in." This is. I guess this is specifically the Natasha Leggero sneeze fetish page. It looks like she sneezes a lot on podcasts.
Gotta get her some third time.
Yeah.
Or not. So
Yeah.
these
Yeah,
people
maybe.
can still continue to have a good time.
Yeah, because there's a couple episodes of Endless Honeymoon where she sneezing. Wait, contact staff. I would love to see who's the staff.
Who's the staff?
Yeah. Fun. Furry sneezing archives.
Can you look up who's on there? Like, are you on there? Are we on there? I don't
Oh,
think I
like
ever
Wiki
sneezed.
Feet? Is it like
Yeah.
Wiki Sneeze?
Right.
Wait.
Never got a Google.
Are you guys on WikiFeet?
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Hell yeah, we are.
Made it.
Hell yeah, we're on Wiki Feet.
We've been on WikiFeet for like a decade. Moving on up.
Okay. I just Googled Corinne Fisher sneeze and nothing comes up. Let me do Krystyna Hutchinson. Maybe we haven't sneezed enough on air.
I don't think I really sneeze on here. I mean, I've been sick where we've had to record sometimes.
No, it just keeps specifically going to Natasha Leggero sneeze. I guess she's
Good
just
for
a
her.
sneezy lady.
Yeah. I'm just sneezing.
Wow. Sneeze theory. Okay. I love it.
That's fun.
All right, let's read this article. Or this email. This is the subject line, "Does that mean he likes me back?" Hey, Krystyna and Corinne, I've been watching you guys since 2018, and I love the podcast. Also, for warning, I've never wrote to a podcast like this, so I may not be good at explaining things.
That's okay.
So for context, I'm 19 and work at Walmart. I'm still not entirely confident in myself, and it's hard to find myself being with someone. But there's a guy who came into work and is now a good friend. The thing is that I found that I was having a crush on him, which hasn't happened at all with someone my age except like 6th grade. At the time, he was 19 as well, but had a birthday in December, so now he's 20. Uh-oh.
Ooh, an older man.
This is so funny. As well, he and his mom work together and were good friends along with my other friend. Some things he had said or done is a little less, but I've taken notice. If my other friend is walking with his mom, this is such a 19-year-old email.
Yeah, it's really sweet. And also, like, I feel like this person's pretty self-aware for a 19-year-old, I guess.
If my other friend is walking with his mom, he decides to walk with me every time. He has bought my work lunch staff more than once and random things out of the blue. When he asks a question or something and someone else answers, for instance, his mom, he will straight up say, "I was talking to her and I'm sitting at the table like shocked face." Okay, this is a little hard to know what you're saying. Or paid for our breakfast outings and is always looking at me.
Okay.
Oh, and during work, he would always do something that catches me off guard, and he would say any chance that he got to say, "Do I make you nervous?" The thing
that's weird.
yeah.
Do I
What?
make
No.
you nervous?
No,
If
it's
it
not.
was a cute way.
No.
I'm thinking of an older. Yeah, this is 20.
Yeah,
so
he's 20. Yeah.
I'm thinking of like an older man. Like, do I make you nervous?
No, you can say it in a
Takes
flirt.
here.
You can say it in like a flirty way, like, "Am I
Do I
making
make
you
you
nervous?"
nervous?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've said it to people.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, he's also just a really chill guy, nice guy, so I feel like everything he does I'm reading into. But the thing he has said he isn't looking for is a relationship. And to be honest, with the way that I am, I don't know if I am as well. Also, his mom, who also months ago asked my other friend after he bought my lunch if she thought that he likes me or whatever. And I have not told the mom and don't think I could, but she low-key ships, I think. Oh my God, this is hilarious. I would love to see what you guys think. Keep doing what you're doing. I love you guys. And what are you doing?
Okay,
He's flirting
so-
with you, but he doesn't want a relationship. Like that, people tell you who they are. Don't read more into
Men
more.
will always they'll verbally tell you where they're at and what their best and worst qualities are. So believe him. But also, if it's bugging you, if you're like, oh, but maybe, then sometimes you need to know and you need to hear it from the source. Because if you have a crush on him, for example, and it's kind of like being fostered and you don't want to foster it anymore because it's not going to go anywhere, do yourself a favor, don't foster a crush on this guy. Just ask him, like, do you like me? You're fucking 19, you know? You sound sweet. It's fine. The worst that he might say, no, no. Like, okay, cool. And then you're going to be maybe a little daggered from that and then move on.
Yeah, like women, as women, we love to like include these like listicles of everything the guy did. Guys aren't thinking about that.
Yeah.
They're just fucking existing.
Yeah, and I'll say, if he liked you, you would know pretty quickly. No.
Yeah, and if it feels like you're not sure, that means like sometimes like they're unsure too. You know, like guys don't have this master plan most of the time that we think they do.
No,
they don't.
They don't think that far ahead. They don't.
Yeah, there's no master fucking plan.
No, they're just existing, and that's why they're a little
again.
more
In the words of Jerry Seinfeld, we're just walking around, looking around.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, it's true. So this is a follow-up from the email that we read. Did we read this on a bonus episode or on an intro? I think we might have read it on a bonus episode.
I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure it was a bonus episode. I'm going to subscribe to find out. But it was, the subject was, I found out my friend is a child predator. Basically, to summarize it, this woman and her boyfriend lived together. They have a neighbor who's an older guy who was married to a woman, got divorced. Found out through a hair salon lady that this older guy was in jail or got arrested for basically trying to hook up with trying to meet up with a 15-year-old. The 15-year-old turned out to be a undercover cop or something like that. And so...
Well, it was a bait and switch. There was no 15.
Right, exactly.
It was to lure the 15-year-old was the cop. Yeah, there was no 15-year-old.
Yeah. And so...
Yeah.
I know, that's like a 6-year-old. I know, it's a heavy fun.
And also here, like even though the subject line is child predator, 15 is not a fucking child.
Yeah, and so we had a discussion. We read the email. We had a discussion because the girl was freaked out. We're like, look, pedophilia is a young child, right? That is a different caliber of fucked up than the caliber of fucked up that an older guy trying to bone a teenager is. They're both fucked up, but in different ways.
Well, this is clear here because we looked at the numbers. I'm like, 15 is actually a femophilia, not even hebephilia.
Right.
Because that's 15 to 19. It's so on the spectrum of predator, it's the chillest.
Honestly, yeah. But it's still predator, yeah, for sure.
For sure.
But we read it,
For sure,
like,
it's still a predator.
Wouldn't be as freaked out by it, but like, it's fucked up, for sure. So we read that email, and then she sent us a follow-up. Update from the same listener. Okay. Update in case you ended up reading this whole thing.
We did.
Which we did. But on a bonus episode. I think it was last week's bonus episode. Well, 2 weeks ago. This is good. I sent that original email 24 hours after hearing about this incident. Okay, so I was fresh as hell. Since then, I shared the news with my boyfriend. Okay, because she was debating not telling him.
Yeah.
Who just kept going, what the fuck, man? Sporadically for about 24 hours. It has really fucked with us to see a trusted friend in this position, right? Because they were super close and they like loved this guy. And he was very like, a community leader kind of thing. The way they always are.
Right, but to me, like, this is also like kind of like a learning lesson for these people in their lives. Like, yeah, life is full of your close friends disappointing you. And it's how you respond to that and get past it. And I think part of it is just like stop putting people on pedestals and really realizing we're all human and we all have these huge flaws in us. I mean, it's a little bit more than a huge flaw, but you don't know what I'm saying.
It's a little flaw. Yeah. It feels like a movie. John, who's the fake name of the neighbor, John has been holed away in his apartment for his business. And neither of us have yet to run into him. For context, we normally see him a few times a week on the street. We noticed his distinctive car was nowhere to be seen for a few days, and then have since put together the pieces that he traded his black car for a gray one of the same make and model.
Oh, he's going undercover witness protection program.
Right. The Predator website that listed him on it doxed his address and information, so I guess he's fearful of his own safety. Yeah. Normally, we can see John from our kitchen window while he sits on his balcony. Now, I've pulled the blinds down in our kitchen for the first time in 4 years living here. We have a skylight in our bathroom, which, should John go onto the roof, guys, you're thinking John's calculating than it is.
And also, John's not interested in fucking you guys, no offense.
Yeah, you're too old and you're a woman. Should John go onto the roof, which he has easy access to, he could technically walk
stick in anything. And I think it's like, we don't really understand these things. And that's why everyone just thinks the solution is let's go out and kill pedophiles. Like, there's no understanding.
You can walk across the zip line. Like, it's just,
He doesn't want to fuck you. He doesn't want to watch you pee.
Oh, wait, no.
It's like a misunderstanding here. Unless you often have 15-year-old boys over.
Right. Then I would say cover that skylight.
Yeah.
Ever since learning about this incident, the skylight started to freak me out at night when I can't see on the other side of it. Yeah, again.
He's just not that into you.
Yeah, your hebephile neighbor is just not that concerned about seeing you naked.
Yeah.
Can't see on the other side of it, even though we would hear footsteps if someone was on the roof. You're stressing out too much about this. And even though neither my boyfriend or I are his type, we're not 20-year-old boys, gross, I have since covered the glass skylight with blurry privacy stickers. It's just beyond weird to go from thinking it's a fun wave to our friend from the kitchen window here and there. My boyfriend and I assuming and laughing about how he's probably seen us having sex in our kitchen at least a few times. Again, it's probably not interesting.
And also, that's also weird on your behalf.
Yeah, like you should close your blinds to keep your neighbors from watching.
They're like
fuck.
Well, but and also the thing is, I think it's like kind of almost what a narcissistic heteronormative thought to think that everyone wants to see me fucking. Is so obsessed with seeing you and your boyfriend fuck. No, he wants to see a 15-year-old jerk off. Okay. Yeah. He's also grossed out by the same way you're grossed out by him. He's equally grossed out by you.
Same sides, different point. Or different sides, same point. To putting up privacy film over windows, pulling down blinds, and holding my breath every time I walk past his door, praying he doesn't come out. He doesn't happen to come out while I'm walking past. Girl, he's gonna one day. Yeah. And then you're gonna go, hey. All right, see ya.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is a small town, and this next twist I did not see coming. Uh-oh. Okay. John made an appearance at a town council meeting to clear his name.
Bold.
I watched a recording. You're obsessed with it. No, I agree. He stands up there and announces what happened. He states that he was coerced into making a false confession under false pretenses by a vigilante group who purports to expose sexual predators, but whose real goal is to destroy lives for views and likes.
And I actually agree with his assessment of that.
Yeah? Yeah, I mean, those people do certainly exist, but do you think that John is right about?
No, I don't. I think he 100% was looking to meet a 15-year-old, but I think these online vigilantes are doing it for views and likes, not actually because they care so deeply about keeping pedophiles off the street. That's not really a cause that anyone, I don't think, actually cares that much about. And specifically, I don't think that this is the way. If you really want to solve the problem, I don't think this is the way to do it. I think this is actually a way to ruin more lives.
Yes. This group uses decoys on dating apps who pose as an underage. Oh God. Okay. Jesus Christ. This group uses decoys on dating apps who pose as underage people to get adults to agree to meet up. But this is not part of the feds. Like, this is not an official thing. So it's just like a bunch of people wanting to catch pedophiles.
Yeah, there's lots of online vigilantes, including some comedians that do work like this.
Weird.
It's extremely dangerous.
Weird.
And also, like,
that's weird.
You don't know exactly what you're doing. There could actually be a miscommunication. I don't think this was miscommunication, but there could be miscommunication. And it's like
you're ruining somebody's life.
You're ruining someone's life.
If it was a rumor,
you're ruining the entire family.
Yeah. And that's how
it's
people
so
like
irresponsible.
Commit suicide, you know?
Exactly. And also even like, okay, so I don't. So and also like, what if this guy maybe he never acted on it before, whatever? Like, you think that the solution or like what he deserves is to kill himself? I also don't think that's good.
No. This group uses decoys on dating apps and poses underage people to get adults to agree to meet up, and then they confront the predators on camera and post the videos on the internet, a modern day to catch a predator. What happened to John was they confronted him with a camera at an agreed upon location where they state he was meeting up with a 15-year-old boy.
I'm very familiar with this stuff.
So John goes in this council meeting to say that the confrontation was frightening, stressful, and confounding. He says that this organization is not supported by any of the local law agencies and that our local prosecutor's office does not condone this vigilante activity. I mean, yeah, because they could be fucking getting themselves into trouble. What if you're fucking with somebody who's got like a bunch of guns and a temper? He says he never believed the decoy he was talking to was a minor and that he agreed to meet in a public place because it would allow me to observe him before going any further.
Now he's out himself.
Yeah, this
saying too much, John.
Yeah, shut the fuck up,
Should have
John.
had a less is more meeting before going in front of the whole town.
He says the recording was taken under extreme duress and that he'd been charged with criminal offenses based on it. He said he's been humiliated and the financial cost has been staggering. He says he will not succumb to social isolation and that his friends, family, and coworkers have been supportive of him. He has asked his neighbors, that was you, to uphold the tenets that he is innocent until proven guilty.
There are some things you can't do that with, and anything in the pedophile spectrum is one of those things, and that's the problem with the vigilante work. It's a scent you cannot get off you ever.
As if I wasn't already confused enough, I seriously cannot explain how much I don't know what to think. Assuming he was guilty after watching the first video, I really imagined he would stay holed up in his apartment, get fired from his job, and maybe even move away. The reason it felt gray to me in the first place was because of how this vigilante group operates. I wondered how much their mission, in quotes, should be taken on face value versus how much they do what they do for internet praise and for being the good guys, if any of it is faked on their end to make these videos more compelling.
There you go.
And how much of a trusted source they really are.
There you go.
Critical thinking is what's for dinner. I just don't know what to think from the start. I just didn't know what to think from the start. I went down a rabbit hole of their videos, disgusted and disturbed by video after video of men allegedly thinking they were meeting up with 14 and 15-year-olds. But now that John has stood up in front of the whole town, in front of a council who I know for a fact all know him personally. I mean, look, if you think about it strategy-wise, he could have done that on purpose so that when he does want to be caught, he could say, but I'm a leader in the community, and claim victimhood. I'm shocked and confused. But the fact that I can't shake, is that according to the original video, he went to meet up with someone who told them they were 15 in his council address. He doesn't really explain this well. Yeah, because he probably thought they were 15 anymore. He says he didn't believe for a moment that this person was actually a minor.
Yeah, it's called lying.
Well, then why would he have met up with someone he thought was lying about being 15?
Because he's lying.
He's lying. This is, okay, so welcome to the world. Motherfuckers lie.
It's a little bit of, it's alarming how just you're like, you rapidly like change your thoughts and opinions. Like, and I also didn't know I guess maybe we knew initially that she sent this like after 24 hours. You need to take a pause in life. You're having the same thing. You're having a lot of.
Well, I love that these crazy things happen. She's like,
yeah, you're having knee-jerk reactions right and left. Like, I don't even think you've sat down. You're putting things on your windows. You're covering everything. How about taking a fucking breath and sitting down and really thinking about this? Because honestly, right now, you're thinking about whether or not you want to be friends with John. I don't think John should be friends with you. But no matter what he did, you're not a good friend for him. If you turn him on him this quickly, to be quite honest, I wouldn't want a friend like you. I wouldn't. You turn your back immediately based on one immediately.
Yeah.
You're the kind of friend who, like, a comedian gets canceled. They read one BuzzFeed article about them, and you're on the side of BuzzFeed. You're not a good friend.
You're not a good friend.
Fucking, you gotta ride or die with the homies, dude.
Yeah, motherfucker. And also, if you were friends, you'd talk to the guy. You'd be like, yo, John, what's up? What's this about? Knock on his door.
Yeah,
not wait for him to peek into your fucking sunroof.
And you're not being slick. John knows what you're doing. John knows you're avoiding him. John knows you're covering his windows. It's so passive aggressive. I fucking hate passive aggressiveness.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts.
So just be aggressive.
Either confront him or act normally. All this in-between shit is pussy-ass baby shit.
It's bizarre and doesn't really add up. We also started in the original.
And she's fucking turning into an internet sleuth. The thing that who was that girl who was missing because her boyfriend killed her, that was missing in the desert for a while, and everyone turned into an internet sleuth.
Yeah, they were.
What was the girl's name now? Yeah.
gross and weird. No matter what the laws are. Okay, you're just saying the same thing. No matter what, I'm skeeved out by 60-something-year-old who likes such young men.
Okay.
Legality aside, cool. I feel like there is something off with someone who never moves on from wanting to be with 18 to 20-year-olds. You're right. Okay. But at the same time, if no laws are broken and if he really hasn't actually been with minors, how could I be sure? Who cares?
Oh, Brian Laundrie has said. See, I'm so bored. I'm Googling Brian Laundrie's stuff.
It's a lot.
I know. What else?
I
Also,
literally
like,
did the same thing. I was like,
guys,
Wikipedia.
we don't need to. When you write us a letter, we don't need to know your entire internal monologue.
Right.
Please,
That's true.
Jesus Christ, we have enough going on in our own heads.
I know, so much.
Oh my Lord!
You have no fucking idea.
That's why coming stream of consciousness over here. Lord,
That's why when people are like, how dare you not speak? Bitch, what? Sorry. Okay, so I'm not gonna read the rest of it, but you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
just don't be involved with him.
We have time. That's interesting. How many minutes do we have, Mike?
We're at 47.
Okay. Oh, this is an episode. Okay.
Yes.
This is mine. Okay. Do I tell my father that his father, your grandpa, said? Well, I was trying to make things as complicated as possible. Do I tell my father that his father?
It's a rough day for you guys.
My grandpa said sexually explicit things to my sister and I to explain why he isn't invited to my wedding. Okay. Do I tell my father why my grandpa isn't invited to my wedding? That would be simpler. It's like, come on, guys. Hi, Corinne, Krystyna, Eric, and Mike, if you're still there. I have been a long-time listener and Luminary subscriber. I've seen you both do stand-up in New York and Chicago, and you always kill it. Thank you so much for doing what you do. I truly look up to you both. My fiance and I have been together for 7 years. We're both, why so long? Just get do it. We're both
Do it or don't.
Fuck. We're both 30, live in Chicago, and are newly engaged. We started planning our wedding and are super excited. The only problem that I've run into is whether or not to invite my father's parents. The short version is I cannot stand them. They are creepy and weird, and I haven't seen them in 6 years. The long version is I'm 99% sure that my grandfather molested me as a child. Since I was a young kid, I always had a memory of someone touching me in the shower. My memory of this doesn't allow me to picture who was doing it to me, but I can remember the shower, and if my memory serves me, it is my grandparents' shower. My mom has also told me that my parents left me at my grandparents' house for the weekend once when I was little. When they came to pick me up, I was furiously biting my fingernails down to the nail beds. According to my mother, I had never done this before. Okay, well then it seems like your parents needed to parent in that moment and didn't. But they didn't need to just regale you with the story of your nail beds. Jesus fucking Christ. My grandfather also said creepy things to me at my sister's graduation party. Specifically, he said, wow, you have got to be the prettiest granddaughter, in a very, very creepy way. My grandmother heard it and did nothing. I just walked away. Over time, I started to tell my sisters of my suspicions, and my younger sister shared that when she was little, like around 6 years old, he described in detail to her how he lost his virginity. Yeah, this is a problem.
Grandpa's a pedophile.
She said that they were in his car, so she couldn't walk away, but as soon as they got home, she immediately ran into the house. She said he never touched her, but hearing this makes me want to lose my mind. Like myself, she never told my parents. My parents are not aware of any of this. The reason this is connected to my wedding is because I know that my dad is going to want to invite my grandparents. Well, it's not his wedding.
Yeah.
He used to be pretty reasonable, but recently he seems like he's fully not fully there cognitively.
Wait, your dad or your grandpa?
I would say his dad. He flies off the handle easily and says off the wall shit. Yeah, it's called aging. Recently, your parents are just gonna get a little wackier in these later years, and you just gotta roll with it, Recently, he has become very defensive over his side of the family and blames us, my mom, my sisters, and I, for his poor relationship with them. I think what we fail to realize with parents is you know how we're having all these aha moments as we're the children growing up? Yeah, your parents are too. They're not just fucking lost in time, okay? They don't just freeze. They are also developing emotionally, having aha moments, self-reflecting, even though if they're not doing it the same way we are as millennials, or maybe I guess you're still a millennial, I'm not sure, I'm 30. It's on and seek a therapist. So, like, relax. To be honest, sometimes I don't even want him there, but that's for another email. Yeah, I feel like there's a bit of a loss of empathy in some of these emails for our parents. My mom has made it very clear that it is my decision to invite who I would like, and they will stay completely out of the planning unless I want help. I just don't think that my dad feels the same way when it comes to his parents. I guess what I'm asking is, if my dad digs his heels in about inviting his parents, do I tell him about his dad being a complete creep so he understands why I refuse to interact or communicate with him? I would tell him whether or not they're invited to the wedding, because he should know. I don't know if I'm comfortable telling them about my molestation suspicion because I'm not 100% sure it was him. Yeah, that's a big claim to make if you're not sure. But I would definitely tell them that he has made uncomfortable comments about my looks. My sister explicitly told me to tell my parents what he said to her if anything is ever brought up, because she doesn't want to do it herself but wants them to know that our grandfather is a complete creep. So your sister's making it your problem. That's fine. No matter what, my grandparents are not coming. The only question is whether or not to disclose why I refuse to be around them. I know the question is hypothetical, but it's very likely that my dad will push back when I break the news that my grandparents are not invited. Any advice is appreciated. Thank you.
I would just be like, hey, just so you know, I haven't talked to my grandparents, your parents' dad, in like 6 years. It's because they've always given me a really creepy feeling, and I've had a lot of memories of suspected creepiness happen, but nothing that I can confirm. Then I talked to my sister, and she confirmed some very creepy stories. He is allowed nowhere.
Yeah, also guys,
Case closed.
cut the cord. If you're getting fucking married, it doesn't matter what
You
your
have to
parents
stand
say.
up to your parents.
They have no say.
They're not. Are they paying for your wedding?
They
Even
have
if they
zero
were,
say in your
they're
wedding.
not in the marriage. They're not getting married.
It's just so strange. You guys all need to cut the cords a little bit more between you and your families.
Yeah, cut it out. Never talk to them. Woo. Okay.
Not necessarily that. I mean, that's your choice, but like, yeah, it's just like it seems like it's either like people don't talk to their parents at all, or they're everything they do they're calling mom and dad.
Right. I feel like people feel imprisoned to their parents' opinions because they forget that like you're the keeper of your own life. Your parents actually don't have a say. You just think they do. Like you're in a jail cell, the door's wide open.
In a functioning family, what should be happening is your parents are spending, your youth, giving you the tools to go out there on your own, and also hopefully teaching you how to critically think. And yeah, like the template will involve their religious views, their political views, their social views, but hopefully it will also include like a yearning and a want to know the truth and discover things for yourself. And then you go out into the world and you look at what your parents gave you, and you throw some of it away, you alter some of it, you keep some of it, and then you create your own thing, and then you pass that along to your children if you have children, and then they do the same thing. Okay? You're not just a carbon copy of your parents. You also don't need to be the complete antithesis of your parents just because you hate them. I mean, like, that's an overcorrect. Because even if you're doing that, like if you're rebelling against them and you hate the way you grew up, you're, in a way, if you're just the antithesis of your parents, you are still that way because your parents.
Because it's against them.
Right? So it's like, oh, you're still kind of their puppet.
Yeah, you're not your own person. All right, last time my boyfriend called me by his 6-year-old daughter's name. I mean, that.
I know.
I mean, that's
already reading too much.
That's
yeah.
I mean, I've only ever almost called boyfriends and other boyfriends so many times. I go through phases of doing that. I'm like, oh, I was just what the fuck, and then I'll like not do it for a year.
Sometimes, have you ever like been hanging out with like a boyfriend and literally forgotten their name?
Yes.
Sometimes I'll just black out and completely forget what their name is.
And sometimes I'll feel like, because last time I was in a long-term relationship was with this other person, so I'll feel like I'll call my current boyfriend a nickname I had with my last boyfriend.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's just, you're just kind of like, it's just like, it's all everyone's just going through the motions. No one really means anything.
Guys, we fucked. I'm a 26-year-old woman. My boyfriend's 34. 34-year-old man. We've been together for 8 months. When we met, I was not looking to date because I'm a serial monogamist. Huh? Oh, okay. I also can't stand children. He has 2 boys and 1 girl.
Sounds like a great fit.
Yeah. I always thought the way he obviously favors his daughter was strange. Okay. But just assumed it was because they don't have healthy relationships with my parents. Could be. It could. I gotta say, it could be.
Daughters alone, though.
Yeah, and when you don't have that kind of bond and you see it, part of you that's like angry and get that projects like, oh, that's fucking creepy and weird. No, maybe it's
sons a lot, dads favor daughters. It's just the way
it's weird. The other night, though, we were both up late. He was playing video games. I was drinking wine, watching scary movies, and all the kids were asleep. Suddenly, he said his daughter's name, so I thought she'd woken up. But then he said her name again, and I turned and realized he was talking to me. So all I said was, I'm not this girl's name. Not her real... Oh, okay. I'm not Amy. Not her real name. He apologized and said that was weird. He said, yeah, you should go to sleep. I've never dated anybody with children, but ever since that night, I can't help but feel like I'm in the way of him and his daughter. No, he just has a daughter, and he talks to her.
This was a huge leap. This was one of the
Christ.
hugest leaps in Guys We Fucked history, I'm actually going to say, okay?
Not all men want to fuck their daughters.
He accidentally called you his daughter's name once, which is a name that I'm sure he uses 100 times a day, and then you leapt to you're dating a pedophile.
Patience also at the end of this episode.
No, but also, come on, girl. I'll jump to conclusion sometimes, but that's a lot.
The theme of this episode is looking for huge problems where there are.
Yeah, I will say, I imagine your life is pretty peaceful otherwise. Like, this is the thing you're worried about, right? He's not, I don't think he's interested in his daughter like, more than being her dad.
Yeah. I'm sure he thinks of her like as a little sweet princess. But again, like,
that's a dynamic that happens.
Yeah, that's normal for the dad to seemingly favor the daughter. That's just because he looks at his sons as like it's almost like a self-hate thing, like right? Like men know how dastardly men can be, and they see women in a different light. So he sees his daughter in a different light. That's just so fucking common. It's the same way why boy moms hate every girlfriend. It's self-hate.
Yeah, it is.
It's self-hate because they know the way that they've manipulated men over the years, and they don't want that happening to their son.
Oh,
come on, guys.
That way.
Come on, this is fucking 101.
That makes sense.
Yeah, stop. Oh my god.
All right, guys.
And it's also now it's weird that you're thinking about it so much.
Yeah. I mean, look,
maybe you're a pedophile.
Yeah, no, we do live in a world where there's a lot of pedophiles. There are a lot of them, and it's disturbing. But I don't think your boyfriend's one of them.
Yeah. It is. You know, also, I mean, like pedophile you can usually pretty much do by looking at him. This is very salt to the earth guy.
Yeah. So it looks like he works at AutoZone.
I've never seen a picture.
Like he works at something.
I've never seen a picture of a pedophile and gone, oh, that was a shocking photo.
Right. Like, wow, I didn't get pedophile vibes from him at all.
Yeah, every time you see a picture of a pedophile, you go, how was everyone in the town not pointing at this guy?
Yeah.
He's
something in the eyes.
He has a bad Party City pedophile costume on. Yeah. Pedophiles seem to go out of their way to let us know with everything about their outward appearance that they're pedophiles.
Yeah. Men are really bad at it.
They're really bad at
so
it.
bad at stuff. Oh my god, they're so bad. I mean, thank God.
Yeah.
But your boyfriend's a pedophile. Yay. Congratulations.
All right. Guys, this has been Guys We Fuck, the anti-slut shaming podcast. We'll talk to you next Friday. Bye. Guys We Fucked is presented by Luminary.
Created and hosted by Corinne Fisher and Krystyna Hutchinson.
Editing and music coordination by Mike Coscarelli. Theme song by Rob Patterson and Jake Kozan.
Suck my wet ass pussy.
Krystyna said to cut that before, but now it's in there.
Yeah, let's keep it.
How exciting is it to play the British Heart Foundation's weekly flutter? Mate, the same time they text you. Or spotting that last parking space.
Hey, you a slut?
Yes. Okay.
Let's talk about bucket.
Hello, fuckers. How you doing? You okay? Welcome to another episode of Guys We Fucked.
Wait, guys, we don't have any lights on.
proximity issue. Hey, Corinne and Krystyna and new guy Eric.
It's my son, Eric. We're
He's
fucking
gonna leave
edging you guys.
He is gonna leave.
Yeah.
I've been participating in some dumb bitchery. I figured I'd turn it into my guiding lights to get help get me out of it. Some backstory on me: 27, female, Brooklyn, actor working in a restaurant, and never been in a relationship.
A real catch.
Yeah. But also good for you, probably got a lot of fun. I used to be incredibly self-conscious, but after getting treatment for an eating disorder and doing a lot of self-work, I have been feeling free and confident for a couple of years now. I've been dating a lot super casually, just enjoying being single and not tied down to anyone. I used to feel super sad that I was alone, and now I revel in it. However, recently, I started to feel that perhaps I'm ready to share my life with someone else. It's almost a selfish one because I want to keep growing and improving, and I don't want to miss out on the experience of being in a romantic partnership at least once in my life. Perhaps I'm meant to be single, but hey, don't knock it until you try it, right?
So dramatic for 27.
Perhaps I'm meant to be alone forever. Cut to a few months ago. I work at a restaurant in Brooklyn, and there's a bar across the street we sometimes go to after work. The bartender there and I have been flirting for almost a year now. Love a long-term flirt.
But also, bartenders flirt with everybody. You can't trust them.
Yeah, they get good tips. In November, we finally hooked up. It was really good. Things were moving along kind of naturally. I would see him for drinks outside of work. He would come in for coffee at my spot, and I would go see him at his job for drinks, stepping out on his breaks, sharing cigarettes, and smooching a bit outside. Ooh, how French and romantic. Beginning of January, he left for a trip for about 10 days.
To visit another girl he met while
100%.
bartending.
Yeah. And when he came back, I just didn't hear from him. Like borderline crickets.
I mean, bartender to me, out of all the, I think worse than musician as far as like untrustworthiness.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the worst. He comes in for coffee like usual, about once a week. But other than that, no text, no contact, no attempt to hang out. I know this means he doesn't want to see me. I mean, it means that he sees somebody else. I hate this phrase.
multiple other people.
Probably. I hate this phrase, but it applies here. If he wanted to, he would. Yes, you're correct. So I'm trying to be smart about it and move on. The problem lies with the proximity of our workplaces. When he comes in, he acts like nothing is weird, and we chat as if it's all normal. I try to be cold and not really care, but we fall into old patterns of chats. He then texted me a couple days ago when he hadn't seen me for a bit and asked me out for drinks. I gave him sort of a, I might have planned for maybe answer. The day came, I said, let's go here. He bailed that night.
He fell for his trick. He just wanted to see that he still could get you if he wanted to, and you pretended that he couldn't for a second, but you didn't do a very good job of it, and then you caved, and then he goes, oh, that's all I wanted to know. I didn't really want to hang out with you. I just wanted to know that I could if I wanted to.
Oh, it hurts. I am very aware that I have to get over this situation, but the problem is that I don't often have feelings for people often. So the fact that I'm even thinking about it is frustrating but rare. Yeah, but I feel like he literally works a block away from you. Like, you don't have feelings for people often. You conveniently have feelings for somebody who worked a block away from you. Brooklyn is big. Brooklyn's a very large world. There's a lot of hot guys in it.
Yeah, and she has feelings for him because he's fucking with her. That's why like people like this know how to manipulate your mind to keep you thinking about them. He's playing games with you.
Yeah.
It's not that you don't actually feel for him. It's that he's created a manipulation and a challenge for you. So you're thinking about it the way you would think about Sudoku, not in a romantic way.
How many women do you think this is
Oh, probably a couple. 8.
Not to mention the fact that I can literally see his face while we are both at our respective places of work. I've gone on other dates since meeting him. Good. I've tried dating apps. I go out with friends often. We've definitely been having fun. But he keeps giving me little nuggets of attention, and I start to put my clown nose when we get back home.
Block him.
And then when he comes in, I mean, just don't look at him. Any advice on how to move on and or how to tell him my boundaries? He doesn't give a shit about your boundaries, bro. That I'm not really interested in these stupid games. Yeah, but that's gonna. If you actually tell him that, he's gonna go, I got her.
Yeah, he doesn't care. You don't need these proclamations of boundaries. You don't need to announce a boundary. You set it and forget it.
Because you know
That's
what?
right.
I announce boundaries a lot,
The rotisserie
and
chicken
then
maker.
I allow people to cross them.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like every time I go to quit smoking and I announce it, I quit stops eventually. It's like you kind of got to do things without telling anybody because
Miss, here's a little secret. Nothing lets someone who is testing boundaries know that your boundaries are weak as shit more than announcing your boundaries. Only the weak announce their boundaries because they're like convincing themselves that they're actually setting them. And then someone who knows how to break down boundaries said, this fucking weak ass bitch, and they go, and then the boundary is done.
Yeah, think of a guy coming into your work going, I just want you to know that my boundary is that I'm not going to be playing these games when you text me. You're going to go,
How embarrassing.
You're going to go, got him.
Yeah.
And you're going to skip home and you're going to masturbate to how you got him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a good idea. Anytime as a woman you're trying to do something, role play doing it as a man and see how much of a pussy ass bitch you look like, and then you still look like that as a woman. Okay.
Yeah.
You still do. It's just socially acceptable, right?
It's just, the thing that's so bothersome for you, writer. You said something. Natasha Pigs. Oh, yeah, you work at this restaurant. Oh, yeah, I remember. I'm sorry if I was awkward when you came in, Krystyna. I couldn't say.
Oh, you work at a nice restaurant, yeah.
Yeah, amazing restaurant. You were lovely and sweet. I lost it. What was I gonna say? I forgot.
I don't know. I mean, all she gotta do is remember, like, I'm sorry, you were just a notch on his bedpost, and it sucks to be a notch on our bedpost, and we all like to think we are like above that, and like, no, we're not. We've all been a notch on someone's bedpost, and it's fine.
This is what I was getting at. There is something that a guy or a woman or a non-binary person can hook you. The breadcrumbing thing, it's like even a dude who doesn't fucking like that much can sometimes manage to hook you with that move.
Sure.
And you're like, I don't even like. Like, have you ever been like ghosted by a guy? And you're like, I don't fucking like you, but you realize you look back and you're playing mind games. And I want to.
Oh, yeah, that's like the guy who literally interrupted my life. I go, I was 0% interested in you.
Yeah.
You went out of your way to work on the relationship, and then, I mean, I've solved that puzzle, but like,
Oh, fuck you. Yeah. So it's like, you can certain. I don't think you were actually into this guy as much as he was just playing you, and you don't. No one wants to be played. And
he's being sexy and like and elusive, but like, but also it's like you're kind of like, I think you're mourning what could have been in your mind, but like when you actually look at what really went down between you, there's not a lot of substance there. You went out for drinks a couple times, like you didn't have a relationship. Nothing. He was just like,
you were there.
Yeah, there was nothing really happened. I think a lot. You filled in a lot extra in your mind, and listen, we all do that. But this relationship really didn't have much substance. Okay, so you're thinking like, what could have been, or like what happened after the ellipses in your mind. But like none of that went down. You don't mean anything to this guy.
No,
that's it.
What could have been?
It's just stop answering him. Stop answering him.
Yeah, it's every time.
That's the only solution.
Every time you feel the pull, you have to do the work to mentally like wrangle yourself back in by reminding yourself that this guy's a dime a dozen. He does this to everybody. He's not really doing anything wrong. It's just like, yeah, you don't want this guy.
Yeah, you don't want this guy. And I also like, you don't need to be a bitch to him when he comes in. Literally just
because that's gonna be weak. That's gonna come off.
And don't be cold. Just be exactly. Be regular and stop responding. Serve him whatever his coffee or whatever, and then that's it. That's the only relationship that you have.
There are so many hot guys. It's stupid. Okay, they're so hot. Go out. Go out with your girlfriends. Show your titties or whatever you feel comfortable doing, and go get another one. Okay. Guys, March 7th. That is our next residency show at the MasterCard Midnight Theater for Guys We Fuck. That is also the very first live event that we will be joined by our new guy, our new younger guy. He's not my younger man. He's just someone different. Eric Freddy.
Eric Freddy, everybody.
He's sprightly. He's light on his feet. And I got a fun idea planned for us to open the show. So make sure you get your tickets. The link to those tickets. I feel like young people are like lighter on their feet, because they're like, we're never gonna die.
Mike didn't like that.
Oh, wow, you didn't. That okay was vicious. I'm sorry.
It wasn't a fat joke, Mike.
Oh no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't a fat joke. It mean like older people are slower.
So that's better.
Yeah, that's all. That's not bad.
I like that Mike was more comfortable with the older people are slower.
No, that was pure sarcasm.
Oh. the oldest person in the room, so everyone relax.
Yeah, but you look the youngest of those accounts. Okay. Also, I have a stand-up comedy. It's my daily stand-up comedy. I'm going to go hard. You can stream it on Spotify. You can stream it on iTunes. It's pretty sick. And I have a Patreon page where once a week I do group Zoom share me. And I gotta say, I had a session over the weekend. I usually do them on Tuesdays and then one weekend. And the theme was depression with a little dash of abortion. And I know I attract people that have issues with their parents, that have severe mental problems.
Yeah.
Because I'm honest about mine.
I love watching a Krystyna audience. A lot of just sad girls in cardigans.
Hell yeah, girl.
Sweet.
But I gotta say, I'm really, because I'm in such a good place, I am able to talk to other people about their severe suicidal depression, and I'm able to make them laugh, and it's pretty joyful, I gotta say, because I've been there, and I know what it's like, and I know it's not cute or fun, but it's a good, I think the group thing that I'm doing is just really good. It's really special and lovely, and you can sign up for just $5 a month. You can listen to these recordings of all these Zooms, and you have a long list of, bingeable Zoom episodes, so patreon.com/Krystyna Hutchinson. It's a really cool space.
I'm just envisioning someone writing their suicide note and like, Krystyna, you did all you
did it. Well, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. I can't. I'm not there. But
I like what you should do. You should be your merch. If you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. But with the Nike symbol.
That's so funny. No, because I'll get sued get sued by people's parents.
Do this Nike symbol the other way. Just
or it's down.
Your mirror, upside down.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it.
Well, I do have merch that says congrats on killing yourself with a skeleton hand, thumbs up, and I do mean it. But yeah, there's something about like feeling like I feel like it's common for a lot of people with mental health issues to want to die, and there's a difference between wanting to die and actually formulating a plan. Like, there's all kinds of various stages of being suicidal, but living in a world of, I want to escape this feeling I have. Let me go online, or let me jerk off, or let me smoke weed, or there's so many options we have to escape our feelings. And I'm like, why don't we just lean in and then make fun of ourselves? And I gotta say, it's potent. It's very healing, and it's very potent. And then March 22nd and 23rd, Springfield, Missouri, headline with the Blue. Thank you. Oh, The Voices in Our Heads, my podcast, solo podcast on Big Dick Mike D. Don Dickies Network Slickback Studios.
Hey.
When he exits Guys Who Fucked, he is still a second mic on my solo show. So, and he makes a lot of noises, and it's really fun.
A lot going on.
Yeah, every Monday, baby.
Oh my gosh. And then for me, if you want to listen to my podcast that makes people so mad when I post clips about it online without a country, because they just don't know what is going on. It really actually tickles me. Just people, I just let people have huge fights in the comments with themselves, and then I chuckle a little bit as I read them, because I'm like, you just really don't know what we're talking about. I mean, it's really a long form podcast, but since you have to make a clip for everything these days, it's just very funny. So anyway, Without a Country podcast, very fun episode this weekend. I mean, when I say fun, I mean like in the context of it, because it's not like light or fun. But we talked about a cult in Kenya that you probably don't know about, where a lot of the kids end up dead. It's just like my point was because like there's a lot of horrific things happening in the world, but we really only concentrate on things that affect us in America. So I just think that's interesting. And then we also talked about Michael Rubin, the CEO of Fanatics, destroying the baseball card industry. That was very interesting to me. And then, of course, we're getting heavy into what looks like it's going to be Biden versus Trump 2024. And I got to give the Kennedy ad. The Independent ad? Kennedy ad? Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah. Yes.
Both independent.
And I also got to give props to who's ever handling Joe Biden's social media, because they posted the most hilarious picture with like the Joe Biden's eyes glowing, and it was just like what was the actual caption?
It was like I knew the Chiefs.
Just the
way we planned the Chiefs, and I love that, because I think really one thing the Democratic Party is missing is a sense of humor. They're just not as funny as Republicans, because, and this leads into what I always say on the podcast about comedians. The funniest comedians we know are the worst people, like soul-wise. So that's why Republicans are so funny, because they don't They don't have
no
a soul.
compass. Yeah.
And I don't want to say that as a wide sweeping statement. My show Without a Country is actually about the fact that I think the two political parties are actually equally soulless. It's just that liberals are performatively have a soul. But yeah, so I thought that was really funny, and I'm just like, you know what? I've just accepted the fact that it's Trump versus Biden, and now it's like, let's fucking go. Let's just fucking go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. I mean, like, just like there's different versions of people in their, 70s. Fast food. Isn't it? So do I. I have lots of energy.
Yeah, but you still eat fast food?
Hell yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
I eat Taco Bell like once a week.
Wow.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, that's something that just doesn't slow me down.
You just like you gotta learn what your body can handle, you know. So yeah, listen to Without a Country. It comes out Wednesday nights, and again, I recommend watching on YouTube because there's a lot of visual elements. You can do whatever the hell you want. Washington D.C. I'm coming to see you February 29th through March 2nd. 5 shows at the D.C. Comedy Loft, and I will be accompanied by Chloe LeBranch, who you heard a couple episodes ago. It's going to be such a fun show. Have lots of new material that you haven't heard yet. I mean, unless you've been following me around and watching all my shows, then you've seen it. But not yet released online. So that's going to be sick as fuck. Definitely grab a ticket to that. All right, now. Oh, yes, this is what we did this week. So Krystyna and I, this week, we both watched the new Netflix, calling it a TV series, but it's a film. No, it's a documentary. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know why it's listed as a TV series, but it's a single documentary, and it's called Lover, Stalker, Killer. And the synopsis is: a mechanic tries online dating for the first time and meets a woman who takes romantic obsession to a deadly extreme.
Yeah, women.
So this popped up on what was it? I guess it was Friday. Like it was like Friday night maybe for me. Friday, Saturday night it popped up, and me and Alfred watched it. Alfred, big TV dog, was riveted the whole time. I don't know if you guys if your dogs watch TV. My whole life I've never had a dog that watched TV. My childhood dogs never watched TV. My dog watches. Like if you go like this, he'll go like to get around it. Like he's watching the TV. You see his eyes following the characters. When something, if there's like a fight or he goes like this. He'll bark when a bad guy comes on stage. He's riveted. Wow. So it's so funny too because my dream was to have a dog to watch TV with, and like he watches it. So anyway, we got really into this, and this to me. So what I wanted to do, when did you solve it? Oh, how long did it take you to solve it?
When they reveal, I mean,
okay, so
spoilers.
We're spoiling. If you want to watch this, fast forward.
It's still riveting though to find out. I didn't know the storyline, and it's riveting. But even if you know the storyline, it's still like, damn. As they revealed it,
Are you serious? Krystyna, 3 minutes in, I knew that Liz had murdered Carrie and was pretending to be her. 3 minutes in, the minute she shows up to the date because she left something in the apartment, I fucking knew.
Well, that was weird.
I knew the whole thing. I knew the whole thing.
Because she showed up to the other woman's house, Carrie's house.
Okay, so what's gonna happen? Yeah. So what's happening is, what's the mechanic's name again?
Just call Bob. I don't know.
All right. No, it's not that. Wait. Let me look it up. Lover, stalker, killer.
This guy. I feel like this guy felt so like secretly was like.
Well, the thing is, he
was a nice guy.
But he also looks like he could have been like an extra member in Smash Mouth. The way he dresses.
100%.
No, but he was
a good guy. I liked him.
This is like in fucking Omaha, Nebraska. Yeah. He's like the toast of the town in Omaha, Nebraska.
It did make me realize, wow, if we were dating in Omaha, Nebraska, would be the hottest environment.
Oh yeah, I mean you don't even have to go that far, Krystyna. Just go to Atlantic City, New Jersey. Oh, his name is Dave. Okay, Flags at work. Yeah. So the mechanic's name is Dave, right? Okay. And so him and his ex-wife Amy, they share custody of their kids. He ends up moving to Nebraska because he wants to be a hands-on dad, and like him and his ex-wife are on good terms, but they're no longer romantic actually lovely. He seems like a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't want anything serious. He's 35, restarting dating. He goes online dating. Early days of Freudian. He goes the early days of online dating, and he meets this woman named Liz, and they both talk about how they want just like really casual relationship. Liz seems fun. They're like party girl. Like they're fucking.
Yeah.
They're going to bars.
She wants something casual. He's like, perfect, me too.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny because in retrospect, it's like he presented that he wanted something casual, and she's like, yeah, me too. And then of course that unravels.
Yeah.
And so
I
they're
can speak
friends. Yeah. And then he's a mechanic, and then one day he's at the shop, and this woman, Carrie, stops by to get her car fixed or something.
He's like, who's that?
Yeah.
lady?
But he's like being professional. He's the manager of the mechanic shop. He doesn't make any moves. But then they find each other on a dating website. They match on a dating website, and they're like, I know you, and she's like, I know you, and they set up a date, right?
I guess it is weird. How would Liz know where that chick lives?
It was at his house.
Oh, it was.
Yeah. So then they have their first date. Like the first time they go home to Dave's house, as soon as they start getting hot and heavy, Carrie and Dave, the second woman, there's a buzz on Dave's apartment, and it's Liz, the first casual woman.
Yeah, I just want to be cash too.
And she says, oh, I left something at your apartment.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, if it's casual, what the fuck are you leaving that you need in the middle of the night at his apartment?
Yeah.
And
They didn't say what it was.
no, and right, her sanity.
Yeah.
And right when that happens, I go, Liz is about to kill Carrie and pretend to be Carrie.
Yeah.
Posthumously.
See, I was like,
knew it immediately.
I thought Liz really likes Dave, and she's pretending to forget something. Totally something.
Oh, she does
Totally
really
some
like
kind of-
Dave, but more than that.
Different way.
Well, and then I started getting worried about my mental health. I go, 'cause I wanted to see how long it took you to solve it, because I think it was a testament to how fucking nuts I can be if I need to be, that I was able to solve the fact that Liz was going to murder Carrie and pretend to be her for years before they discovered Carrie's body. Like, I knew 100%
That's amazing.
that's the fucking move.
I knew actually when Carrie's mom was like, her house, she didn't pack up her bags.
Yeah.
Why would she say
That's
she's
late
moving
to
town?
documentary.
Right, I know. Like, why would she say she's moving to start a new job somewhere in another state, and then you look at her house and it's just like she just left the store? And I'm like, man.
Yeah, I was
And then they made Carrie, when they thought it was Carrie,
Right.
all this crazy shit to Dave and his wife and kids. I was like, Carrie. And they were saying, well, she's bipolar. I'm like, I don't think bipolar people do that.
Bipolar people, I think, more often hurt themselves than others. I mean, the suicide rate very high if you have bipolar disorder that you're not managing properly.
Right.
And obviously, if you have bipolar disorder, lay off the drugs and alcohol. Number one thing to do. But yeah, so I was number one concerned about how quickly I solved that, and then like it takes so long for the police officers to solve it too. I'm like, you guys, like, I know it's maybe not as crazy murders happening, and like the first time you have to tackle a mystery like this, there's usually only one case like this, in your police officer's entire career, in an investigator's career. But it's like, come on! I mean, the guy, you don't think outside the box a little bit that someone could be pretending, but you're not an investigator by profession.
That's
I was
true.
like, how are the investigators not thinking
They
this?
seem very sane people, the two guys, and when one guy was like,
They should call the woman on.
Yeah. When he was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and he was like, hey, would it affect my ability to, like, do this case? Because I really need to find proof so we can get this lady in jail. And they were like, yeah, it would affect your ability. He's like, okay, well, hold on the brain tumor thing real quick. I'll solve this case. I'm like, God damn it.
Oh, I wanted to fuck that guy so bad.
Yeah, me too. He had something going on for himself.
Autism.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, he was on the
Kind.
spectrum. Yeah.
But yeah, the way they found the pictures on the deleted SIM card, I was like, fuck, good job, you guys.
Yeah.
I was genuinely shocked.
Basically on the deleted SIM card. So just so you guys know, if you're planning a murder, even if you delete a SIM card, the feds still have a way to go back. Like, you need to actually like permanently destroy it, like light it on fire or whatever. Because what happens is that the first time Dave goes to work, and after he goes to work, after spending a couple nights with Carrie, they've been together for 2 weeks at this point. Liz
in the fucking foot.
Liz does shoot herself, but the biggest power move is Liz sets her own house on fire and kills her own pets.
Yeah.
That's how committed she is to being a fucking psychopath and framing dead Carrie.
Dude, when they were questioning her, and it was very clear that they started doing it, I'm like, you are on another planet, my friend.
I know, and Dave seems so normal. And then when you see Liz be interviewed, you're like, this woman is clearly unwell and not even hot. She, and I guess, as the time goes on, well, the way they catch her is they trace back the IP address. And she was using a lot of VPNs. Good, she's a smart lady. She was using a lot of VPNs, but they finally trace it back, and they trace it back to another IT guy who works in the same space as the IT investigator. And they're like, yo, this is our fucking colleague, so and so. And then all of a sudden you start thinking like, oh my God, did a man kill her? And then you find out that Liz started dating this IT colleague guy and has been using his IP address to send fake emails as Carrie, send fake text messages as Carrie. And then they go back because they had Carrie's car. Like they found it eventually, and it was just they had had been abandoned, and they had looked at they did the spray thing for blood, and they find nothing on the surface. This is another thing if you're going to remember, keep this in mind. So she had cleaned the inside of the car really well so that nothing was showing up under the black light. But then what they did was they split off leather seats and looked at the cushion in between the leather, and there was the blood stain because it leaks through the little air holes in the seats. And so even if you clean the surface, a good investigator knows to slice the seats open. I'm actually surprised it took him so long to slice the seats open.
Yeah, that was weird. But she really did try to
She did a great job. For years she was wondering.
I'm writing this bit about this, but it reminded me of this idea. Like, everyone thinks serial killing and murdering is a man's game, but I think that's because men are fucking awful. Like, women are much more sneaky. Bad men are cheap. They're so bad. And then all the murders, they tried to do the way that a woman did.
Well, I think their rage clouds their ability to clean.
Right. So you're thinking
Yeah, but women just aren't inherently as violent, but I think if you are a woman who has the ability to actually murder someone, your ability to cover it up, yes, I agree, would be much better.
Very high.
And also, we're just better at cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
So
much better at cleaning. Oh, what a perk.
Yeah, I mean it was crazy, but yeah, I was just so alarmed by how quickly I knew exactly what was happening, and I wanted. So if you watched it, how long did it take you to figure out exactly what was happening? Because I think it really is a good test of how fucking apeshit crazy you are.
Yeah, I didn't know until
out of my mind.
I had and then when they revealed like nothing was packed in Carrie's house, I was like, that's weird.
Yeah,
maybe something weird's going on. But I didn't think it was Liz as Carrie. I thought something was weird at that point.
When her house set on fire, I go, damn, this bitch set her own house on fire. That's how cats. No. Well, the thing, she's obviously, I was surprised. I mean, like, she's in jail for life now, but I was surprised they didn't, I mean, I guess that's why they didn't go into the case a ton, and I didn't look into it further, but it seems like if I was defending her, I would be in complete insanity because she killed her own pets, and I would believe it. Yeah. Like, there has to be something deeply wrong. I mean, like she's like a sociopath.
Did they say she had a history of doing this kind of shit?
No. That good BDE.
Yeah, that did too long.
Yeah, and like Liz has kids and shit too.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
wait, she does.
Yeah,
Liz had kids.
Liz had kids. Carrie has kids. They all had kids. Yeah.
Really?
basically was like, man, why'd you have to stab my daughter? Like, she's kind of like, could you just like bring something else? Yeah. And I'm like, dude, oh, and I thought the most interesting part for you was that. So Carrie's mom is interviewed a lot throughout this, and that's also how you know Carrie's dead the whole time because it's like when you're not showing.
The part where her deceased husband was like, "Hey, Nance, Carrie's with me." I was like, and that's why we can use mediumship to solve crimes, motherfuckers. You can also hear people's grief, and it's the blue future.
Well, the problem with mediumship is there's so many charlatans in this space. But like the thing was, so Carrie's dad had been dying of cancer right around the same time that Carrie went missing.
Right.
And so at one point, Carrie's mom says, I had a really, really vivid dream where my husband came to me and said, don't worry, Carrie's with me and she's safe. And
the mom was like, oh, fuck.
And that brought the mom, I think that brought the mom peace though, because I think when you have a child missing for so long, you kind of know they're dead. And then it's like, living in that limbo is very difficult. Even when you're waiting for someone to die, like when I was waiting for, it feels weird to say that, but like, you know, he's dying and it's like, that limbo is I damaged my teeth. I had so much anxiety during that time because I was clenching so much. Like I was showed up to the dentist and my dentist is like, what the fuck happened to your mouth? And I go, I'm sorry, my dad was dying for the past year, and so I was clenching my jaw. But that state of limbo is even more
Okay, guys, we are here with author Molly Roden-Winter. You have a book out right now called More, Memoir of Open Marriage. I was reading the inside cover, the little flap, and I was like, this is fucking juicy. This feels like a graphic novel. Oh, sorry. It feels like a graphic novel's about to happen. Can you go over a little bit for us, like, being in an open marriage, being polyamorous, like how it came about?
Yeah, well, it was kind of a long journey to get there. So I didn't use that term open marriage. I didn't even, I certainly didn't use the term polyamorous. It was one of my initial goals was to fall in love. That was never my goal. In fact, I thought loving more than one person was to be avoided
too. Why did you think that?
I thought that because I thought that meant that there would be not enough love for me if he loved somebody else, or if I loved somebody else, then I would want to leave him.
Right.
And I'd blow my life.
Yeah.
So either me loving somebody or him loving somebody both seem really dangerous.
Yeah.
Possibilities.
Sure.
Yeah. So poly was never like my goal, and I thought of that as kind of a fringe kind of crazy thing that some people were able to do, and I never would. So like my initial title for the book was actually The Experiment, because that's the way it kind of felt at first, like we were embarking on a sort of dangerous experiment.
Which that's fun. Keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
That's also how we described this podcast, oddly enough, when we started. Like, for
Really?
real, we kind of described it as a social experiment, because back in the day, we were actually interviewing guys we had fucked, guys we had relationships with, the origin,
And asking, like,
but
what
10
went
years
wrong,
later,
what,
yeah. So that's very interesting that for you to be sitting here now saying that. Yeah.
Experiments are good.
They
you know
are.
what I mean?
They're important.
It's how you
They
arrive
are.
at conclusions.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. It's all very scientific.
Yeah.
I didn't really have like a control group per se, but I'd say like the rest of society might be considered the control group.
Yeah.
Let's see how monogamy's going, and by comparison.
It's not going that good.
Yeah, that's my feeling.
So you were out and you were asked out by a guy, and you were at this point you were in a closed marriage. You were monogamous with your husband. You had
Yeah.
kids, right? At
Yep.
the time, and a guy asks you out. You come home and tell your husband, and your husband is like, "Go do it." My heart sank when I read that, because I'm like, "Fucking go do it." What, you don't love me? But I know that's the immature response. I'm curious what you felt when you heard that from him first.
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't coming out of nowhere. There was some precedent that was kind of like deeply buried in my memories of our before times, like before we got married, before I had 2 kids. And so when we first started dating, I had like very, very few partners, and my husband had like fuck the city. You know what I mean?
He was a male swan.
Yes, very
Love a
much
male
so.
swan.
Yeah. And 5 of his ex-girlfriends were at our wedding, which I thought was actually like a pretty good testament to like people still wanted to hang out with him.
Yeah.
You know? And he always said to me, like, there's no way you're going to be okay with only sleeping with me for the rest of your life. I was also 5 years younger. And I was like, all, you know.
What do you mean, mister?
Yeah, I love you, you know. But by the time he was like, go for it, I was like, yep, that's what I want to do.
Oh, okay.
But I hadn't admitted it to myself. So we had been married at that point for 9 years, together for almost 12. I had kids that were 3 and 6, you know what I mean? It's like we had gotten to a place where I was not feeling my best, to put it mildly.
In what way?
I was not, I didn't feel like a whole person. I felt like I was this, I was the role of mother more than anything else. And so it shocked me actually in that moment when I felt desire. It wasn't just that a guy asked me out, it was that I flirted all night with a guy and was like really experiencing desire for the first time I wanted.
It's so electrifying.
Yeah,
Desire.
especially because like for a lot of moms, they think that is done forever.
Oh, what a death sentence.
Isn't that
That
sad?
sounds terrible.
I know.
Really? They just kind of go, well, I guess that's it.
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, I feel like this podcast, this episode could be called like "Reasons to Never Have Children," but like, yeah. I
Well,
mean,
a lot of people, a lot of people say that about what we talk about, but we like to frame it as this is other options available to women podcasts.
yeah.
Yes.
I think it's super important because I'm here to spread the gospel that you can be a mother and a whole fucking person, and I feel like that is not something that is even imagined by a lot of women.
Because I don't ever want to lose my relationship with my sexuality. And I know that in 20 years I might think differently. But right now, like, I never want to see myself as a sexual being is not all of who I am, but I would never want to put that on a shelf.
Nor should you. Nor should you.
One of the things that we've talked about, I mean, here's just an example, but like, you know, Kim Kardashian still posting pictures of herself in a bikini. When you look at the comments on Twitter about she should stop doing that because she's a mom, it drives me over the edge. Nothing will make me angrier. And I really loved, I heard your interview on the New York Times Book Review podcast, and when you were speaking about the concept of children, it being important for them to see their parents as whole experience as a young woman, and it's really repulsive, I think, as societally.
I mean, we could talk about it from so many different angles, and it would be the same message that women are being forced to make themselves smaller and less.
Yeah.
And until we fully, embody our whole selves all the time, right? Not just for a few years, not just when we're like out with our friends at the bar, but like all the time, society as a whole is going to suffer. Because my belief is that it's feminine energy that's going to save us, and we are being slowly strangled.
I agree with that. Oh, fuck. Damn. That's heavy, but that's true.
Yeah.
And I was trying to make this a joke a while ago on my set, but like, when women are horny, everyone's happy. Like, when women have a healthy sexual desire and a healthy sex life, when their sex life is going the way that they want it to go, which if they're asexual, they don't want it to go, but like, however they want it to go, if it's going well, the world is peaceful.
Yeah, it's true.
When only men are horny, no one's happy.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I mean, that is just,
but it's
a great rule of thumb to live by.
Well, there's something so powerful about a woman that really like makes sure that every area of her life is taken care of, because you don't see it that often.
I have to say, if you haven't read it yet, read these words on her best behavior. Her chapter on lust. She interviewed me at my reading in LA, and I was reading her book and finished it on the way home. It was freaking amazing.
Wow.
It's all about like the gospel of Mary Magdalene got married. Like Mary Magdalene actually was not a whore. She was like, yeah.
She wasn't?
No.
I'm not surprised. I mean,
know,
that's like the
but
whole
maybe she
premise
was,
for
but
Lena
maybe-
Dunham's podcast. Yeah.
Maybe she was,
Right.
but that was it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like maybe
I loved Mary Magdalene because she was
Right. I know. Like I don't want to.
She was the only character
shame
living
Mary
her truth.
Magdalene.
Yeah.
Right.
and Jesus.
Yeah.
But my point is that women's sexuality has been revered for millennia, and it's just quite recently in human history that it's been demonized, and I think it's time to like set the record straight across the board.
Yeah. Me too.
And mothers, it's an easy target. It's like part of the reason that you don't feel very sexual after you have a baby is because you just had a human ripped out of your vagina.
Body trauma.
Right? Yeah.
You need a second.
And it's not like it's all medicalized and it's all, there's a lot we could say about the birthing process. I'm all for all the drugs and all the interventions because I'm not like so into pain.
Your body, your choice.
Exactly. I like the interventions, but I also feel like it was kind of this weird thing. This is the other thing I want to say though. I feel like motherhood, another thing we don't talk about is like I was extremely horny when I was pregnant.
Ooh, that's fun. See, that makes me want to.
And this, thank God my kids will never listen to this podcast, but like I was like close to orgasmic from breastfeeding.
Cool. Really?
Breastfeeding.
Weird.
I know, it's super, super, super weird. And
Did
not
you ask
everybody-
her OBGYN about that? Like, is it? No,
What if they told me it was like bad? Like, no. I was like, I was pretty sure it was nature's way of making sure I didn't starve my babies. Like, I was like, it felt amazing.
Oh,
It
wow.
felt
Well, I know that some people can have orgasms from their nipples being touched.
Oh, yeah,
stimulated.
I
Like,
can.
Wait,
Yeah, sorry.
What? That's so
Yeah.
cool.
No.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's so.
But I
have
couldn't
Were you
before.
always like?
No. It's become more recent, actually, that I've let it happen again. And I never let it happen when my babies were little.
Right.
When I was nursing, it felt wrong. But
Sure.
it also felt
Of course,
right. It
yeah.
felt weird.
Yeah, I mean, you're not sexualizing the baby. It's just like, oh, when the baby does this thing, why am I really aroused? Like,
Of course, just because you're supposed to feed your baby.
right,
And you're supposed to want to feed your baby.
right.
That's why sex feels good.
Because you're supposed to want to
Right.
make a baby.
Right? We
Right.
forget. We
Right,
forget
right,
that
right,
sex feels good and nursing
It's an
feels good.
incentive from the
It's an
Lord.
incentive.
Thanks, Lord. God our back. Wow, I don't want to come one. Wait, it'll make. Well, you know what though? Because the one thing, so every week on the show, I want a kid, and the next week I don't want a baby for various reasons.
Fair. No, I feel that way sometimes.
Yeah. One of the reasons why I'm like, I don't think I want a baby this week is because you got to get up in the middle of the fucking night to feed it. I'm really cranky and I can't think. But I'm like, that's interesting. If breastfeeding could cause some sort of arousal, I can understand. I don't have a baby, but like, you wouldn't sexualize the baby. It's just a feeling that comes with the thing, right?
Yeah.
It would make me get up.
Yeah,
Go back to it.
and there's this thing.
baby that was just inside you. You get life force food from your body. Like, that's so cool.
It's super freaking cool. And it's really hard because we make it hard in our culture. You know what I mean? It's not like there's space for women to do that or like maternity leave, even though I was a teacher. You know what I mean?
You didn't have any maternity.
Not paid.
Oh my! You got nice
Right.
Teachers are so abused.
I mean, maybe 2 weeks, but
Oh.
like, yeah, when my mother was a
disgusting.
teacher, and when she had my sister, and when she had me, she only got maternity leave for the weeks she had the flu. She had the flu when she had me, so she got paid because she had the flu, not because she had me.
Oh my God! This country.
I know. Anyway, we digress.
Yeah, that's a whole different episode.
I know. There's a lot of episodes.
So yeah, I want to kind of go back to. There's a lot of interesting parts to this, but I think go back to the part earlier in the conversation where you said when you set out on this open marriage, the number one rule was not to fall in love. That was your cardinal rule. Even hearing someone say that, whether or not I know how it turns out ultimately, but even if I didn't know how it turned out ultimately, to me it's like. Immediately I'm thinking, well, that's an impossible rule to set. Anyone who's ever been in love knows that you really don't have control over it. You can try, you can not act on it, but you can't make yourself stop feeling the love. So did you truly think that you could not have your husband fall in love and that you could not have you fall in love? How are you going to go about that? I'm so curious.
I mean, it doesn't sound real smart, no. And like looking back, part of the reason I wrote the book in present tense was so that I was really like forcing myself to write from that place.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sure it was wishful thinking, but all the other rules we had, I think were just designed to prevent me from falling in love, right?
Right.
So like, or to prevent him from, so like, no dating the same person twice in 1 week, or no sleepovers, or no, you know what I mean? It was like designed to kind of minimize all the contact that existed outside of the intimacy. Yeah.
It's such a really got contentment to when you're like, am I my husband's favorite person because I fucking better be? Like, what? I want to be your favorite. Even if you fall in love with other people, I'm your favorite. And if that ever changes, we're not together.
But don't you have a little bit of an interest, like for me, like I like to leave it on the table. I go, yeah, I like to try and fall in love with somebody else because I don't mind if that is there for them because I want to feel so certain that I'm their favorite person that even if they come into contact with other people that they really like, that I still will remain. Like rather than hiding my husband or my partner from the world.
Well, for sure, but I know the way men are, when you get a crush, when you get a crush, it's so electrifying. It's all consuming. I couldn't imagine paying attention to my husband while also being in love with somebody else and be like, you don't exist to me right now, husband, because I want to get into that.
That is short-lived though. Like of course in polyamory they always have terms for everything, and in the ethical slut, which I was reading, not at the beginning, but during my journey, there's something called new relationship energy, and it doesn't make it any easier to know that, but it's like, duh, of course there's new relationship energy. Like, it's all the good things and none of the bad things.
You don't know their flaws yet.
And once I've rode that wave so many times now with my husband, and he has with me, that like it's still lovely to feel it, but I think what you're describing, Corinne, is like very healthy self-esteem, actually. It's like,
wow, you nailed it.
It's the only talent I have.
Everybody.
It's a pretty freaking big one.
Yes.
You know? Well done.
Wish
Well
I could
done,
sing,
you.
but other than that.
Hey, you can. You just gotta sing.
Wow, you don't even have like an inflated sense of self. You know that you can't sing.
I can't say. I know.
Well, you're the first guest to come on and really get Corinne right.
Yeah?
You don't even know her. That's awesome.
All right. Well done. Well done. Unless you're rocking.
No, I really mean that. People are like, you're just cocky. You're just saying that.
No. Good self-esteem goes a long way. I did not have such self-esteem, and I thought, oh no, he's not going to love me enough, and he's going to love somebody else. But that was what my journey really ended up being, a discovery that, I can't outsource love. I can't outsource my self-esteem. I can't outsource my happiness. If I can't give these things to myself, I will never have them. They'll be fleeting, no matter who I think is giving them to me or should be giving them to me. So that's really, spoiler alert, that's kind of where I landed. And I had to show in the book how that happened, because it kind of
another interesting part is that your parents had an open marriage that you learn about after the birth of your oldest child.
Yeah, I learned about it a year before he was born.
Okay.
But I didn't talk to my mother about it
Got it.
until after he was born. Because
Right.
I just held on to it because my aunt told me that she had had an affair. And my mother used the word affair too. They also didn't use the term open marriage. They felt like they were inventing something new.
Oh, that's great. So
I
it feels
know.
more illicit when they talk about it like that.
Yeah.
Whereas, no, this was something they discussed, they planned, they
Yeah.
knew about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also think my mother is still struggling with self-esteem issues. I think she'd be one of the first to admit it. Like
Because of the marriage dynamic, or outside?
Because she grew up in a world where women were treated like way more trash than we are now. My
yeah,
God.
very likely.
Like
and she,
truly, go home and clean. What are you doing with those drinks?
yeah,
Yeah.
for real. I mean, she didn't start therapy until I told her she had to after she got diagnosed with Parkinson's. Like, I don't know, 10 years
Plus,
ago.
your parents are really involved.
They are.
Your mom specifically.
My
like,
mom is very involved. She's also she is such a big fan of she's simultaneously terrified, or was terrified. She's getting a lot better with it. It's only been out for a month, but terrified about my writing the book, and also so proud of me and excited for me that I am able to do this.
Is she projecting her own fears based on having lived a similar life? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, she's afraid of what people think, and she doesn't understand that about herself. We have a lot of conversations about like little self, big self. Like your little self is afraid. Your big self feels like pride and certainty in your choices, and has like a beautiful worldview. But it's like I think it's this constant battle that it's a human thing, not just a female thing. That maybe females get it a little harder. This battle between little self, big self. It's a conversation we have a lot.
Do you think? I mean, was there something in the air in the household you grew up in? Is there
Kids can sense
is
stuff.
this be genetic? I just find it fascinating that you kind of, for you to want to be in an open marriage and your parents to be in an open marriage, it feels like almost like a nature versus nurture conversation, even though I don't think that it is. But was there, looking back now on how you were raised, the conversations that were happening in your household, is there any signs of why you might have chosen this?
Yeah, I've thought about it. I mean, my sister definitely no. Like my parents, my mother told my sister when the book was gonna come out.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? I was like,
Okay.
you've got to tell
Yeah.
my sister, because they never talked about it. So it was not, sex was not a conversation. The one thing I will say is that I knew that my mother had a special friendship with a man. And it's a guy, Jim.
A special friend.
Right. And my
Usually it's a
dad-
lady named Cindy.
Yeah, right. But I feel like there was something about that friendship that that I did kind of aspire to. You know what I mean? There was something freer about
Maybe
her.
you noticed too. Yeah, I was just gonna say maybe you noticed your mom was a little happier when the special friend came around.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
Okay, I like this new
Yeah,
mom.
it was especially, I have a scene in the book where she's on the phone with him, like a flashback. Like, she would laugh in a very specific way with him, and he cracked her up like nobody else. And it was like landline dates, so she'd be like sitting at the phone table, just like unable to breathe because she was laughing so hard. Yeah, I know. They still have the phone table.
I have one in my house I grew up in. I love it. It like brings back very warm memories.
Even though they still have the cordless, but
Yeah.
it's like, but they still stand right next to it. It's the cradle because they're greenies. But anyway, but it's like there's a sweetness to that, and my father also, although he doesn't tell me much, I did, learn a little more in the last few months about his past relationships, and they both have people in their lives that they were once intimate with that are friends now. And I think there's something about that, and I think that's another thing that I think this, kind of influx, infusion of talking about polyamory has made people talk about lots of other kinds of intimacy, like friendships that are not same, you know what I mean? Like the idea that, men and women can still be friends with each other too, unlike Mike Pence saying I could never have lunch with a woman.
Alone with a woman.
I mean, it's like, that's damaging to our society too. Like, he needs some, I know, right?
Well, we We do have a saying on this show: "No grown man wants to be your friend." I want to complain about, but
it's when in doubt.
It's more that speaks more to not that men and women can't be friends, more that a lot of straight men can't be trusted to not just one sex.
Well, they don't know how. They don't know how to like the emotion.
If the straight guy's female friend wanted to fuck him, he'd probably say yes.
If it was on the table.
Yeah, that's also understood.
Yeah.
Also understood. But I also think that like my husband has he's always had female friends. Like I said, there are 5 ex-girlfriends at our wedding, but like that was one of his selling points to me, actually.
Yeah.
And the fact that he has more women in his life now, like I think of them now very differently than I used to. I used to think of this as like a threat. But now they're like, I'm like, oh, just, ask Phoebe what she thinks of that. I'm sure she'll set me straight. Like, I'm tired. I don't want to tell you. I don't want to tell you the same thing 9 million times. And
they're like sister wives now. They're all on the same team.
What was it like? What was it like? I'm curious what it was like when you first had sex with somebody outside of your marriage, but I'm more curious about what was it like when you started to fall in love with somebody?
Yeah.
Like, were you annoyed that your husband was there? I feel like I'd be so one-track minded of like all I give a shit is about being this person that I'm falling in love with because that's so exciting at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, there's like the thing that it's like this is so deeply ingrained in us. It's more about my kids that I felt like
That's helpful.
I didn't want to think about. I didn't want to like, if I went to the playground or whatever, like you start going into autopilot at a certain point anyway. You know what I mean? Like now I walk past a playground, I'm like, oh, I remember the sandbox. And then I have to slap myself and be like, oh, you fucking hated the sandbox. It was awful.
Oh.
Stop like romanticizing.
Yes.
Yeah, like romanticizing. Like I remember, and like I loved when they were little, but I love now that they're older and like can go out with my oldest and like split a bottle of wine and like talk about real shit. Like that's nice too. But I feel like I felt this guilt that like I was thinking about like another man when I should be giving my full attention to my kids. But at the same time, so it was like this battle inside of me. But at the same time, it wasn't doing them any favors when I was walking around, kind of a walking migraines. I think I was for several years there because I was just pent up to such a degree.
Pent up from what? From what exactly?
Pent up from trying to be perfect. Pent up from, I live in Park Slope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I read that. I'm like, God, that's all images.
I know.
It's all like, what kind of stroller do you have? Do you like the new egg stroller?
And I kind of prided myself, and I like making friends with people who were also kind of anti-Park Slope, even though there we were. You know what I mean?
Well, the best is to be anti-Park Slope in Park Slope.
Yeah, I know.
It's a nice place.
It's like, let's go and
Picturesque.
beautiful tree-lined street and talk about how stupid everybody is. You know what I mean? But it's like a point of pride that I never joined the food co-op. And like,
Oh, wow.
I went on like Park Slope meetings once. And I was like, this is stupid. Yeah. So, but I was also like, I just felt so pinned into this role that I was like, and I have such a kind of perfectionist tendency in me anyway, which is very common, I think, for a lot of women, that I just didn't recognize what was happening. Because I also love my, it's like the thing you're supposed to say, but it's also true. I love my kids. My kids are awesome. They were also it was really difficult having 2 kids and having, like, trying to be a person at the same time. Because I didn't,
You always want something. Sometimes you don't want to fucking have anybody to want something from you for something.
Yeah, and they want something from you
All the time.
Yeah.
And it's always the mom.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
the dad thing, it's like, yeah, let's go get nachos and play in the arcade. It's like, cool. I wish I feel like if I was wrong, why don't you want that from me? I want to do fun shit. I don't want to just pack your lunch.
Yeah, they want you to like wipe your butt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a lot of, it's like years of ass wiping. Years.
Yeah, right.
Years.
Well, and there's a book that kind of talks about this. A part of it. There's a book called "Getting to I Do" that we've talked about many times on this show. It's primarily about masculine and feminine energy and how you can use that to meet a person. But part of what the author talks about in the beginning is that a mom really should only be prioritizing the kid. I believe she said 2 to 3 years at the top of it, and then you should put self first again. And many mothers make the mistake of not going back to the place where they put self first again until the kid is like 18 years old. Do you remember when you made the switch to put self first? Has that happened? Like,
I think it was the moment that I met Matt in the book because my little one was 3. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
And my youngest, love him, sweetie. But he was like, he had like special, like he needed therapies when he was a little kid. Like he's fine now.
He was
at
extra.
college,
Yeah.
doing great.
Yeah.
He
needed more
was
help.
a lot. And
Yeah.
so, and he wouldn't be the first to admit it. That's
Yeah.
partly why he is the coolest person
I was gonna
ever
say,
been now.
usually they grow up to be like
Yeah.
pretty chill, awesome people. It's
He's
always fascinating.
the best. So
Yeah.
I would never turn back time or in any other way. But like he was also a needy little guy.
Yeah.
And so you know, then you have your first, and when your first turns 3, then you have your second, in my case, and then you've got another 3 years. So there's the 6 years right there. Even if you prioritize, even if you try. But I love that advice. I think it's brilliant. I think that's what I did, but I think I harbored a lot of guilt about it. I think I started
'Cause of the
putting myself.
shoulds.
Yeah, I think I started putting myself in that moment because I felt like if I don't, I'm going to quit. Or I felt it something deep inside me that it wasn't serving me. Not only was it not serving myself, the only way I could kind of like give myself permission was to also be like, this isn't because it's not good for me, it's not good for my kids. I feel oxygen. atmosphere,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Right.
But like I could tell there was something in me that needed this, and I couldn't stop following that kind of
Follow the pole.
following the pull.
Yeah, because I think we've all met someone, and some of us have this person as a mom. I don't, but like the person who's 100% momming from the day that she was a mom, and like it's not a good energy.
No.
It's because then much on the child.
Yes, you're so wrapped up. The kid doesn't. It's not going to grow up kind of fucked up in some little way. But then the mom's going to take everything the kid does personally because it's like, well, you are an extension of me.
Yeah.
It's like, no, girl, you should have separated yourself
Yeah.
a while back.
No, I wrote an essay called "Leave Your Children Before They Leave You." Because
Ooh,
I was
I
like,
love that.
because I had this moment.
I love that.
Dropping my youngest off in college, like I cried for a minute, but I'm having a pretty good time.
Yeah.
But then he like didn't call for a few days, so I just talked to him today, and I was like, oh, you know what I mean? Like,
Good to hear from this guy.
Nice to miss you.
Hey, stranger.
You know, it's nice to miss you. I'm glad you don't need to call me for 5 days. That means you're happy.
Wow,
It's
that's
great.
mature mom. Oh, God, thank
Well,
you.
I have no life. I
know.
thank God.
Yeah, and I think part of it, like I don't talk to my mom anymore, but we have such a tumultuous relationship, and with my dad too. And I think part of it's because they have their own fucking lives. And I'm like, if you just got a hobby that you were excited about, that you were passionate about, you wouldn't be criticizing me all damn day. And it's like, it's better for all of us if you got a hobby.
Yep.
Sometimes the hobby's fucking someone else.
That is, you know, it's a rather time-consuming
Sure.
hobby, and
That's great.
it also worked out for me. So.
How did you still? I hope this is a question that's appropriate to ask, but like, were you still sleeping with your husband when you were sleeping with other people?
No, that is a great question to ask, because I think a lot of people assume that, like, oh, she's just, you know, they have like a sexless marriage. No, we were definitely having sex, and we still have great.
Oh, that's so exciting.
But I think, and I honestly think, one of the big benefits, there are a few benefits to our sex life. It's not the only reason to do this. At first, he was like, he gets a little turned on by me being with other
Ooh,
people.
I love a cuck. I am a cuck.
I am not.
Oh, okay. It's
No.
way convenient when you are though, because you're like,
I believe you.
this is awesome.
I believe you. And I'm just starting to feel like I'm so, I don't know, sometimes like, the older I get, the more jackassy I feel. And I talk to younger women, and I'm like, wow, there are females who are like, you know what I mean? Like, I so drank the Kool-Aid of what women are like. You know?
we all have. We all
But I
have in
feel
our
like
own way.
I discover something, and I'm like, oh, you guys already know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's so cool. But my husband is that way, so that's
That's fun.
that was like, but
hard to be in the entertainment business when you've decided that the thing you value most is keeping things to yourself. But how I make my money is by not keeping anything to myself.
There's a thing that my therapist talked to me about once called Spanda. It's like, allegedly, I haven't checked this out, that it's like it's Sanskrit and it's the root of the word spontaneous.
Okay.
But it's about keeping something within until it is ready to burst forth in some creative form.
Oh.
So maybe.
And you might not even be exposing the thing with the creative form. It might just be like an offshoot of the thing.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah, it like kind of goes through its own metamorphosis. You're like a cocoon, Corinne. You're just like holding the things, letting spanda and letting them become something creative, and maybe that's why you do what you do. Your spanda is spontaneously combusting.
I do sit with things for a long time.
That's great.
Make sure they're ready.
Yeah.
And then I like copying things.
Yeah. You can find out. But I was saying that there's some really important things about the sex between my husband. So one is he gets off on it, but then I decided that's also for me. That's important learning.
Yeah.
The other thing is sometimes I learn through doing something with somebody else what I like, because we sometimes get into little ruts in our marriages, right?
Yeah.
But not always do I want to do that thing with them.
Right, because different vibe. Every person you're with sexually is every sexual pairing is a snowflake.
I agree.
Because somebody can bring something out of you that the guy doesn't bring that out of me or that out of them, but they bring it out of you, and I'm like, that's beautiful.
Well, you can tell when they love it and the other person doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's partly how much they love it.
Yeah,
That you love
fun.
it.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I love it. Because seeing a guy super, super, super aroused is so hot. And it's kind of beautiful, like different things arouse different men.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, all of us.
Yeah.
And then the third thing that I thought was a huge surprise was like, he has, like, because we have different tastes, I no longer feel pressure to give him everything he wants.
We have a joke about that.
Let's hear it.
With the word, don't you talk about like the blowing? Or no, you said that on the podcast. Like if I'm dating a guy and some girl wants to give him a blowjob, like yeah, please, I don't want to.
I date a lot of comedians, so like they're on the road, and I always say I go, you can go on fucking the road and get as many blowjobs from as many women after shows as you want, and I don't think of it as a threat. I think of it as less blowjobs I gotta give.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's for real. It's
women
for real.
helping women.
I think it's
Something
nice.
that sticks.
Like my husband's into like shouting, like obscenities during sex.
Hell yeah.
It just does, and some women get off on it, and I do not.
Right.
It makes me like, especially,
Yeah.
like it makes me cry, and that is a buzzkill. Like
That I would say
likes that. You know what I mean? And he can tell when
You
I'm
like
about
that,
to
you fucking
cry.
bitch?
And I'm always like, are you mad at me? He's like, no, I'm not.
so
And
fuck.
then he's
Yeah. Come on, Mom, it's not fuck.
I know, and I'm like, oh, it's so funny. It's so sad. That, like,
No,
for
but
years.
it's true. Like you're sensitive. That's okay. He likes doing that. That's okay.
Yeah. And so now, if he does it, like we can like, it's okay now. But I don't have to feel bad. I don't have to change my boundary.
Yeah.
And I don't have to feel bad because he can do that to whoever else he wants.
Right.
And I'm psyched about it. I'm like, yes,
Wow.
go call her a cunt.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'd much
That's gonna be the follow-up to this.
Yeah,
Go
go
call
call her a cunt.
I love that.
Actually, that is not.
I'm picking that up.
That is not far from the actual next weekend. Right?
Oh,
I'm not going to call it, but it's going to be about, like, there's
So
a term.
funny.
There's a term called metamors. Metamors.
That's
Your metamor is your partner's partner. And
Whoa.
I never heard that one. Wow.
Yeah, it's like a polyamory thing. And so your metamor is your partner's partner. So I have a whole story about what happened between when this book, from about a month after this book ends, through the end of 2020, that involved my boyfriend at the time's wife and my husband's girlfriend.
Whoa.
And the things that I was in a bad place with jealousy with my husband's girlfriend at that time, but I ended up learning and changing and evolving in ways that I never would have imagined because of this time.
Wait, tell me more. Well, they're your greatest teachers. Who you think is your greatest enemy is your greatest teacher.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so
something
interested about your grappling with jealousy.
Because I get jealous.
Yeah.
But I'm also
we all get jealous.
But
yeah,
mine's a little bad.
Well,
Mine's not good.
How bad?
Well, but I also
that's you mixed with your temper.
I know.
Fire.
But I've pushed a girl before, and I'm not proud of it. She was flirting with my boyfriend at the time, and I was like, what the fuck? But then I also masturbate. Like now, I masturbate to my boyfriend having sex with me.
Ooh,
So what?
interesting. Yeah, yeah.
But
Well, that
I
sounds
read
like
a lot
rich terrain
Right.
for you to explore.
So I read a lot of Pema Chodron. She writes a lot of books,
Uh-huh.
and she talks about the things that fire you up. Don't run away. Don't block.
Oh.
Lean in and breathe. And I'm
Yeah.
like, one day. But I think the cuckolding thing is that.
Yep, I think you're right. I
Because
think
it's
you're
so
right.
hot to think about. God damn.
Yeah.
But if somebody tried to talk to my man, like, what are you doing?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. People are weird. that's a great conclusion to draw. You know what I mean? It is true, and I love it. I
So
think
how'd you do this? Go through this metamorphosis with your partners?
not very graceful. So I was like, yeah, I was terrified of not being loved. You know what I mean? And so the story of lore is really my discovery that I can love myself, right, fully, and therefore not like require constant kind of reassurance that I was lovable. Yeah, yeah. But also, I know you put a lot of things together with this. It's kind of like you just kind of like enter the eye of a storm.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like how many tough relationships can I feel, simultaneously figure myself out. It's kind of the way it felt. But like the other thing I think I discovered once I fell in love with somebody else and I realized it did not make me love
Take
the
away.
less.
Right.
I was like, what? It made me love him more.
Right, because he wants you to feel love and you want him to feel love, and that's so close. What a bond.
And yes, and it was also like I was getting everything I needed. It put a spotlight on the things that my husband gives me. You know what I
Whoa,
mean?
Love this.
And I was getting the things that maybe I thought maybe he didn't do enough for me.
Yeah.
I was either giving them to myself or getting them from someone else.
Wow.
And so all of a sudden, and then I was seeing also how his relationships were positively impacting me at the end of the day. Like the fact that there's a scene in the book when like he goes away with his girlfriend for the first time and she makes him fucking help her cook. And he was like, man, I realized like I have a very good helper.
Other women training him to be a better man. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm like,
Amazing.
okay, and he's like 56 years old, so
Yeah.
and his girlfriend is like, so that's really helpful.
Oh, interesting.
Really helpful because she was like, I'm not taking this shit. Whereas I grew up with my dad doing that same stuff. So I needed and I was
And you took
worried
it as a threat.
because she's younger, and I'm like, oh no, this younger woman, and I'm like, bring on the younger women because they will knock them up
they're
with
not
your
taking shit.
bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
will be a chorus telling you all the ways in which you need to change. It's great.
This is totally changing my. Okay, so I had this thought. I was at a party the other day, talking to a good friend from high school, and she has always wanted to have a baby with a non-romantic person, either a friend or a gay guy. And I was like,
great idea.
that's always been my plan for a long time. I wanted a baby with a gay guy because we could both date other people, we'll be super, super happy for each other. I'm never gonna be jealous. We don't fucking care. And we both love the kid so much. And my brother has a son. So my nephew, him and his baby mama are separated, and they have other partners. And he gets his son half of the week. He's so excited to see the kid when he gets him, and then he gets pregnant. And I'm like, okay, that I think is the right plan. But this seems like it's more fun. Like it feels like it's more.
All of it is viable.
Right,
It's
right,
like,
right. I just didn't know it could be done.
Yeah, we just gotta open up this idea of what a family is, of
Yeah, exactly.
The nuclear family is crumbling, and I think that's a really good thing.
I think we are seeing this everywhere. I
Yeah.
think this is the next frontier, and
Yeah.
and it's not something to mourn the loss of.
No.
It's okay question. It's like
Your gut.
gut, and we don't say that about anything else. We
Right.
don't say,
Oh, it's
but
hard.
kids are
Quit.
hard. Like, why don't you give
Throw
them up for
away.
adoption?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right,
Or
right.
your job is
Well, I mean, I said that, but I mean, I didn't have a kid after. I said it before I had the kid.
Yeah,
and I
which
think
is
that's a
awesome.
question. That's like a discussion that we have a lot on this show, and I think people get down on us. Like we're anti-kid, and I'm like, no, it's just not a discussion that you really heard people having like 20 years ago. Right? Like you were just like gonna have a kid, and I think it's really important to constantly talk about it up until
absolutely.
the time when you have to
And
decide.
I also agree that like monogamy is hard, kids are hard.
Right.
Therefore, these are
It's all
great reasons to never get married and never have a kid.
Yeah.
Because it's a specific kind of hard that
Yeah.
you might not want.
Yeah.
But for some reason, we think that these are still the right choices, even though they're hard.
Right.
But then, you look at something that is non-conventional and hard, and then suddenly it becomes
well,
the
don't
reason.
do it.
Don't do it. It's hard. Life is hard.
Yeah.
Being human is hard. And if we don't find a way to do the work around the hard feelings,
Yeah.
the goal
You like
is
to be
not.
better.
The goal is not to avoid bad feelings at all costs. Right. You have to.
In fact, the opposite.
Yeah. I think.
Well, because my question when you started talking about that was my next question was going to be, do you think it's harder to have an open marriage than a monogamous one? Because I think we always hear these challenges of ethical non-monogamy, open marriage, etc., and we think, wow, this sounds difficult. But also, as an unmarried person, when I hear about monogamous marriages, they also sound really difficult.
Yeah.
And-
Marriage is hard. I think.
Right.
Yeah, relationships are hard.
Right.
It's all hard, right? So I think now my marriage feels so easy. There is so little that's hard with us now.
That's awesome.
But that's also,
You earned it.
yeah, and we're healthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I also see my mother has Parkinson's and my dad takes care of me. That's hard. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But that's a different kind of hard. So you just don't know what's
kind of hard. We're coming up with your third, fourth, fifth, sixth.
I know, I
names.
love it. But I do think that we have to be honest about the things that are hard in all of these different, all these different paths. Because what I was seeing before I wrote this book, partly why I wrote it, was people saying either it's impossible, if we tried it, we're like, you know what I mean? Like people were doing like experiments on like a journalist being like, I tried non-monogamy. This is why it didn't work. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
I
How to lose a guy in 10
days.
Yeah. Or people were saying, I think I was just born polyamorous, and that wasn't my experience either.
No one likes to be around those people.
Yes, those people are really hard to take. Really hard to take because they're full of shit and they don't know it yet. I'm like, I'm just waiting for you to see it.
So I feel like, but you know what? I'll be honest. Like, I have been interviewed by some folks who are poly who say, I heard them saying, talking about just the great parts of polyamory, and then when you were talking about like so much of your experience spoke to me. It's so hard, but I think there's pressure when you're doing something unconventional.
Yeah, it's like, this is perfect and nothing's wrong with it, and I'm so happy.
Yeah, because otherwise people are going to do what they've been saying to me, which is like, look at her, like she's just miserable, and she was gaslit, and she was manipulated, and she was, But I'm like, none of that is actually true. The whole truth is complicated, and so I wanted to tell my most honest, complicated version of what happened and why I'm still doing it. You know what I mean? But not as a manifesto, not as a how-to, just like a story.
Yeah, and you're being constantly holding grounded throughout the process. I'm also curious, this doesn't matter, but I'm just curious. The kind of Park Slope mom who didn't have were they like,
That's a thing.
did you hear about Molly?
Yeah.
She's like, was that a thing?
Park Slope Gossip Girl.
Yes,
XOXO.
that's how I think. I mean, not that it matters, but I'm like, if that did happen, I wonder if they were like secretly jealous that you were getting D on the side and her husband was like, yes, girl.
Yeah, I mean, I had friends who were worried about me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they
It's
were,
all projected.
yeah, they weren't wrong. to
Like you
worry
found
about
a
me
new
in
religion.
Some ways.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it was worry that was grounded and some was not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So some was like, are you like vetting these guys before you got with them? And I was like, what do you mean? also don't spend a lot of time being worried about like getting hit by a bus. I'm just like, you know what I mean?
You want to enjoy your life.
Yeah. So I do think that over time, I became like an experiment. People watch. Like, I didn't get LASIK surgery till my husband got it and didn't go blind. You know what I mean? And so partly I think, you know, if my life had crashed and burned, I would be a cautionary tale.
Yes.
But instead, I feel like I'm giving a realistic view on like this is how things could go. You know what I mean? This is how hard it is, and this is, you know, my experience. Maybe it will not go this way for you, but I feel like as people saw, oh, she actually seems pretty happy, and like, oh, I think they're still happily married too, and oh, her kids aren't actually fucked up. Like, oh, this is probably okay. But it took like, they had to like see the 15-year trajectory, you know, of like everybody's okay,
right?
To believe me that it was going to be okay.
Well, hey, the truth doesn't mind being questioned, even for 15 years.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good line. I like that.
I love it's one of the self-help books. I picked it up and I'm like, well, I'm never letting that one go.
No, you should.
When people are super defensive, I'm like, the truth doesn't mind being questioned. So, then they show up. You caught him in a lie. You didn't even know what lie you caught him. You're like,
It just
whatever, I
feels
got
good.
you. Yeah.
And there's
that's
silence,
great.
beautiful silence.
Yes.
Ooh, I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
When people are like, is there anything we shouldn't talk about? I'll be like, the truth doesn't mind being questioned.
Ooh, I love it.
Because like, you can ask me anything.
Yeah.
Right.
But I might not answer if it's somebody else's business.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I
And I guess that we have one. I kind of have time for one more. The last question I wanted to ask is there like a standout moment in your mind for your most like jealous moment?
Oh, I love that question.
I'm specifically really fascinated by the feeling of jealousy.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the toughest feelings to feel as a human, and one that we often don't handle gracefully.
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
Well, it was like the first time I had given my husband permission to sleep with someone else. I had already slept with someone else within our marriage or outside our marriage.
That feel good. You did it first. Winners win.
Yeah.
I'm on top.
But then I was
It's
like,
all going on top.
yeah, you can do it too. And then the moment
He was like, okay, see ya.
yeah, the moment that he like confirmed that it had happened, that was a really bad feeling.
Did you ask?
I did.
Yeah.
Because I was like, because he asked if we could.
Right.
And I was like, yes. And then I wanted to know if he did. And then I I practically like blacked out from like,
Yeah.
I mean, I wrote about it in the book as best I could, like my memory of what that felt like.
Sure.
It was actually, that part was cited in an Institute for Family Studies article, along with Reddit posts were being cited as reasons why non-monogamy is a bad idea. She's like, even Molly Roden Winter wrote in her memoir that this is the way she felt when her, like,
Why do other people care so much what you're doing in your own marriage?
And I'm like, how is this an academic study citing a memoir in Reddit? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah, that's very
this is a
professional.
moment.
And
Yeah.
people get jealous when they're monogamous.
Yes.
Probably a little bit more.
Yes.
That's wild.
But did you ask for a photo of the woman?
Oh my God.
I
Corinne.
have at
You
times. I mean, I've met, even when I've met women somewhat recently, it's kind of embarrassing to say, like, I still get these moments of, like, because the older I get, this sounds terrible, it's not like his girlfriends are, like, younger, and he has one who's younger, but like, I love her, and she, like, helps me, you know, right? You're laughing.
She says stick, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
Quite a bit younger is just so funny.
Yeah.
Such
I
fun.
guess so.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, if I open my relationship up and then he's just fucking dating the 21-year-old, then what the fuck is this? I don't like that.
You
But then
like,
I
I
love
bet
it.
you could date someone else who's also exactly 38.
Right. Somebody who's older though, he's like very equal opportunity. He dates
for him.
older women too, and I'm always like,
That's a good job.
great, yeah. He doesn't have like those. I don't date guys, by the way, who put on their, if they go 10 years younger on their like app.
Can you tell
and
what their
don't
age?
put- Well, yeah, they say it often on OkCupid. It says like, looking for.
Oh.
OkCupid's the only one I've used.
That's a good one because that's a
Looking
red
for
flag.
18 to 22.
Yes.
I'm 47.
Yeah, like that kind of shit. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh no. And like, even if you include your own age but don't go up by the same amount
Yes.
you went down,
You're emotionally mature.
I get grossed out by that.
That's
you know
the
what I mean?
absolute max.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I guess you could be my age,
Yeah.
but not a year younger. But if you're 12 years years younger, great. You know, it's just like it's just a type.
Something underneath.
It's a type thing.
You gotta go at least 5 years above your own age.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, at least, I think unless you're like 20, then that's.
Have you dated a younger guy?
Oh yeah.
Is it all the rage? Like what he says it is?
Not too much younger.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I think it also depends on the person. This is gonna
Sure.
sound. I think it's like I have this weird calculus that like younger plus not American is fine.
That's interesting.
I see what you're saying. It's like there's
That's
a wisdom. They know
interesting.
two
Yeah, yeah.
languages.
If you're like a younger American,
Yeah.
then you're probably like
Right.
Well,
But
how
if
old
you're
were
the
you and how old were you the guy with the largest young age gap?
14 years younger. Is the
Okay.
and he was American, and he was. It's like it's
Yeah.
that's. But like, yeah, I dated, very happily dated up to 10, 11 years younger, actually. But one, and you know what? There's one that's 9 years younger who is American. Great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
As I'm talking to you, I'm realizing like, you know, my insecurities that I express that I would possibly feel if I were doing this. It all circles back to your own sense of self-esteem.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because not being even worried about that is like a good indicator of good self-esteem. But not to say that you should stop if you have like it's like
Well, what do you mean?
worried
What
about?
should be worried about?
Like I'm not your favorite person.
Oh! I thought you meant specifically with something with a younger guy.
No. Sorry.
Well, I also, yeah, but I think like I had a lot, like we in America in particular, but maybe in the whole world, think that aging women are less sexy, and we think
Right.
that men are like, ooh, George Clooney is hot or whatever. If you're a Gen Xer, maybe
Yeah.
you guys.
Oh no, George
like, yeah,
Clooney's
same.
hot. I'm not
Okay.
attracted to him, but very handsome.
Okay, but like I then look at women who are not like I could dye my hair and I feel a little self-conscious about it, but I will never get Botox. Why is it like I get hair? I don't know.
Just like
But
the
like,
looks.
yeah, but like, why do we let men like we're so
We've internalized
two-faced
that
about it?
shitty male gaze.
But I will say, men that are like worth dating are super into
yeah.
in my experience.
Right,
Maybe
I've
just
heard
because
that.
like I'm an older woman too, some of these men I'm dating, but they're like, you know,
They go
almost
the
too
extra
much,
mile.
almost like reverential in a way that's like
Right.
problematic. You know what I mean? Like,
fetishizing.
like they can't believe their good luck, and I'm like, it's true. You know what I mean? However,
Yeah.
I also need you to have, you know, but it's like there's a range. There are, I have loosened up a little bit on how I feel about my husband being with women that are younger. I don't feel as threatened by it because I'm starting to understand the value of age too.
Yeah.
And that you get different things from different people.
Yeah,
and
regardless.
Right. And there are some great things about being with someone younger, and there are some great things about being with someone older.
Yeah.
And it's just different.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Molly, you're really doing it. You're really
Thanks.
doing it.
I'm trying.
Thanks for writing an honest account of a lifestyle that has a bad rep.
Yeah.
You know, speaking truth to the ups and downs of it, I think, is legitimizing it.
Well, I think it's also, I think that what makes this more, I don't want to say more interesting, but or like more believable
real?
to me is like, you know, you started this in what, the book starts in 2008.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's starting before there was like
Craze.
listicles on BuzzFeed about like
22 signs you're poly. Don't know it.
exactly right. I just it just so many people use poly so loosely, and I'm like, this is an extremely complex lifestyle, and I just feel like you're using it very loosely when really it's a
There's no respect
commitment.
for
You have to
it.
put a lot of, I'm like, you haven't even kind of mastered
Talking to your partner.
calling your girlfriend back.
Yeah. Right. There are people who are like ENM because they aren't good in any relationships.
Right.
And then there are people who
There
are
you go.
ENM because they're awesome at relationships.
Yes.
And we've always had this theory too, and Dan Savage says the same thing. It's like, if you're gonna have like a beautiful long-term like poly relationship with somebody, it's also wise to like be closed first, and like you and your husband have a foundation that's like, I mean, that's you can't fuck with that.
Yeah, there are. I am dating someone now who has always been non-monogamous
Interesting.
and led with that like before he met his wife.
Wow.
And so that's
And worked for that.
It worked
There's
for
always
them, too.
exceptions to the rules,
right.
for sure.
Exactly. So I'm always like all the rules I've had in my whole life, whether I talked about them in the book or not, they always get shot this is just like true. Everything's an opportunity to learn about yourself. So do whatever you're going to do and just pay attention and try to learn something about yourself.
Love it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I got applause. Do you always applaud at the
No.
end of your...
Certainly not.
Whoa.
No.
No, he said certainly not.
I'm so flattered.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, pick up this book. We have it right here, The Beautiful Orange, More, and Memoir of Open Marriage by Molly Roden-Winter. Guys, thank you so much for being on the show today. This has been Guys We Fuck, the Anti-Slut Shaming Podcast. We'll talk to you next Friday. Guys We Fucked is presented by Luminary. Created and hosted by Corinne Fisher and Krystyna Hutchinson. Editing and music coordination by Mike Coscarelli. Theme song by Rob Tyerson and Jake Rosen. Suck my wet ass pussy. Krystyna said to cut that before, but now it's in there. Yeah, let's keep it.
Bye.